not yet.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can.
Come on, everybody. How are you? It's good to be with you. Man, oh man, it's been a long 24 hours since we've been together. Brock's almost done with the backyard patio, the project, the dirt, tons of it, out, gravel, rocks in.
Don't bring up the gravel.
Fake grass. Now it's about smoothing it out, making it beautiful. You are on your way, my man. Think about that. New patio, new gazebo, new fence, new ground. Oh my gosh. You are blessed.
And there was enough rock left over to do my
driveway. Part of it.
Good
for you.
Majority of it.
Hey, Murtech. Good for you. I hope you guys, whatever's going on in your world, whatever project, I swear my entire neighborhood is under construction still.
Literally went home yesterday, put my bag down, started doing the driveway, and sat outside until I went to bed.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. We want to be outside. We want to do stuff. I love it. Okay, so I'm not supposed to talk about it so early, but I've been thinking about it. Brogdon, no. So I brought in some leftovers for breakfast for us, lunch. So it was some angel hair pasta with.
Oh, it's fantastic.
With, do you guys get those flavor bomb tomatoes?
Oh, those are the best.
They're the best. It's
I only had like 3, but
I took most of them. It's literal candy. And then Joe had made some shrimp that was really good, some blackened shrimp.
It was good.
Off the charts. And then with a pasta that's tomatoes, fresh basil, fresh garlic, salt, pepper.
Oh, did you use that?
And this.
I was going to ask you, I'm like, that was real. Listen, when I have pasta, I like sauce. You watched me wolf that down.
There was no sauce. It was plain pasta, olive oil, fresh garlic, fresh basil, flavor bomb tomatoes. Off the charts. This Casandrinos olive oil, organic olive oil with 50,000 5-star reviews, where the olives are picked in the same grove that the same family, by the way, veteran owned, same family in Greece has owned for generations, same tree. They harvest it, they cold press it the same day. They bottle it to order. So you order, it's not sitting on some shelf. It's not sitting on some shelf from 5 years ago, because you know what? This stuff doesn't last forever. You need to get really good, fresh olive oil. If you've never had really good, fresh olive oil, and quite frankly, I have not.
No, that was spectacular.
This is off the charts. Okay. Now there are a million talking points I can tell you about with this company. I love that they want to go direct to you. They're a small family-owned operation. They work the land. They own the land. They love the land. And this is literally their baby. And they want to share it with you. Casandrinos, okay? You can see how it's spelled. And it's also underneath the video box. They're organic olive oil. They have balsamic vinegar. They have some other things. It is really delicious. Whether you put it on vegetables, pasta, and salad dressings.
Let me give a testimonial. I'm going to order it. After you telling me that pasta without sauce, with just that, I'm going to order it. It was that good.
It's that good. It's that good. So if you've never had good olive oil, and I'm with you, Casandrinos.com. And I'm not sure if there's a /Wendy. Brock, did you see that?
I did.
I don't think so. I think it's just Yes, it's a /Wendy. Casandrinos.com /Wendy.
Just hit the link below.
Literally, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, that can't be that good. And then you're like, dang, it is good.
I equate that with losing weight, when I always used to say, you don't know how bad you feel until you feel good. You don't know how bad the oil is until you actually have that made a difference.
Yes.
And I'm not one to be able to tell the difference. You could tell the difference.
You can tell the difference. And it cute little, not some dinky, this is like brass.
Yeah, I don't really.
How cute. I love that. Girls like that stuff. Shut up. Casandrinos.com /Wendy. Anyway, it's great to be with you.
I could see why you were so upset about spilling some.
I know. I was like, I'm driving on the highway.
Can that be a Wendy Bell Radio subscription?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to see how much I use it. And well, I have to take it home now. I'm gonna have to take all this stuff home with me. See, if they were smart, they'd send me 2, 3, because I'd give you one.
You're gonna take it home.
I'd take one here, leave one here, and I'd take one and I'd take it home and leave it there. Anyway, Casandrinos.com/Wendy.
One goes home, one stays here. Everybody heard that, right?
I did.
That isn't me being a victim.
Then I changed. You've got to give me a break. 2,000 people already. Hello, welcome. Thank you for your rumbles.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will divide them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we are converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hey!
Well, hello and good afternoon, America. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. What a delight to share what I think is just common sense conservatism with all of you. This is what the show is all about, telling you the truth, giving you the sources for the truth, so you can fact check me, double check me, because I tell you, I will not lie to you. Now, I think it's so wild that the world is looking at the United States, specifically the Democratic Party, shaking their heads, saying, you know what, did you learn nothing in the history classes you ever took? Did they stop teaching them? As the Democratic Socialists, i.e. communists, are poised to completely change the Democrat Party. Isn't that a shame? Isn't that a shame? Well, if you're new to the program, WendyBellRadio.com, it's almost like we all predicted it, right? This is what you get. When you tell people that they're special, you could do anything. Yay, wrap them in bubble wrap, be a helicopter parent. Oh, this is what you get, socialists taking over our country. WendyBellRadio.com. Join the live video stream. All 3 hours are online, and we're fabulous. Duh. So welcome home. I'm glad you're here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, the whole stopping Trump thing as a political party, as a mantra, as an objective, as the roadmap towards survival for a political party does not work, because you've got a finite amount of time that you're going to fight Trump, resist Trump, stop Trump, hate Trump. And then you're left with just a bunch of angry ne'er-do-wells who don't bathe often, who bark at you and want to spend your money. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to the Democratic Party. New York. We're going to talk about what happened yesterday. You guys have awakened to the headlines. Zoran Mamdani's socialist candidates, Marxist communist candidates, clean sweep. Hakeem Jeffries right now, literally, if he's not getting flower deliveries at his minority leader's door on Capitol Hill and condolence cards, because his political career just crashed and burned along with Dan Goldman's. But see, you got to have the right situation. You got to have the right circumstances to get to a place where you are, where just probably a generation, 2 generations ago, well, 1 generation ago, the Democratic Party was still the party of unions. It was still the party of the working guy. It was the party of nurses and teachers and labor and fairness and equity and fight that big government and rich people. Oh, yeah, we deserve our time too. And now it's become this bunch of lunatics who believe in the scariest of things, who really aren't all that bright, who now are going to run as Democrats against Republicans and get their asses cleaned. There's no way that, you know what, but there is a way, which is kind of scary. This is the product of either not paying attention to your base or not stopping the children when they throw tantrums. You know what stops a tantrum real fast? Well, there are a few different strategies. A good spanking can send a child into a tantrum, and that's fine. Scream all you want. Go in your room, shut the door, do what you got to do. You're not changing who I am and what I feel. Go cry. You do that once or twice, it's really not that enjoyable because you need results if you're a toddler throwing a tantrum. And the results of the toddlers that are progressive, Democrat, socialist, communist, Marxist left, these toddlers raised through the public school system, told that everything capitalism sucks, that the founding fathers were bigots, that the whole system is rigged, that everybody who's white is a closeted racist, everything that doesn't go the right way, somebody else's fault. This is what you get. You get a bunch of crybabies who have now won some very pivotal primary elections. Democrat Party is looking in the mirror saying, oh my gosh, we've been really bad parents. You've been really bad parents, really bad. Because if you look at that vis-a-vis the Republican Party, they want to say there's a division, a divide in the Republican Party. Yeah, maybe you've got your regular run-of-the-mill conservatives who are like, I don't really want to get involved in politics, but I'm going to vote for lower taxes. I believe in life. I love the Lord. I dig my family, and I really kind of want everybody to leave me the hell alone. There's that reasonable conservative. And then there's the Make America Great Again conservative who's like, I'll roll up my sleeves. I'll go knock on doors. I'll go campaign for you. I'll do what you need. I believe in you, Mr. President. That's our divide. Conservative and really loving America. And then you've got wackadoodle. You've got Democrats whose platform is resist Trump. And then you've got the progressive fringe of that. That's all about socialism. Nobody can be wealthy. Everybody has to be equal. Don't worry about it. We'll just have a really big government that's in charge of everything. Like, where could that go wrong? I don't know. And I think it's freaking delicious. Republicans just need to keep doing what we're doing. We need to keep hammering the idea that Iran must buckle, must cave to our demands, never get a nuclear weapon. And then we start making money in the Middle East. You start the flow of oil again, which, by the way, did you see what happened to the price of a barrel of oil? Mm-hmm. Down below $70 a barrel, ladies and gentlemen. Lowest number since, what'd you say, Brock? March? Last March?
March.
Right? It's about time. And that's going to continue to happen. Our streets are going to continue to get cleaned up. The machinations of the 250th celebration of this most beautiful, magnificent experiment called America, all of that's going to continue. President Trump and his team are fixing the reflecting pool because lunatics are complete party poopers who don't want to celebrate anything. And they sure as hell don't want you ever to have a good time. And then, lo and behold, November is going to come around and you're going to have a lot of Democrats who are like, resisting Trump. Well, it's only going to be 2 more years. Really? Do I want to vote for some whack job who believes in free Palestine, who hates Jews, right? Who believes Jews are guilty of genocide? Do I really want that? Is that my Democrat Party? If you are Jewish in America waking up today, what the hell happened to the Democrats? What happened? And why on earth would you ever vote with them? The scary thing that we're witnessing, though, and I think it's really well encapsulated and kind of synopsized, if you will, if that's even a word, at the end of the program. You guys know Anonymous on X, deepfake quotes. Our guy, we love him. There's a very special retrospective, this idea that history repeats itself about every 8 decades. Well, what happened 81 years ago? Germany surrendered. World War II ended. And what had been a horrible social experiment rooted in the hatred of one kind of people, i.e. Jews, weird how it's repeating, ended with the extermination of millions of people, the destruction of how many different countries, and a complete global reset where the world had to look in the mirror and be like, what did we just do to ourselves? We're 81 years out from that. That's what's coming down the pike. That is what I see. And once again, the people standing in the way, your good old extreme MAGA Republican crowd. You know why? Because we've got guns. We have guns, we have ammo. We have ammo, we have training. But we have heart. But we have love for America. And if any of these people who has won a primary under the Democrat Socialists of America moniker thinks they're about to usher in a new wave of democracy here in the United States of America, I've got one message for you. Over our, dead bodies? Because we will take you on. There is no way you will win because we have not come this far to expose the rabid lunacy of the left, the fraud, the addiction to power, the trafficking, the despicable behavior. We have not come this far to let a bunch of morons who still live in their parents' basements ruin our country. Democrats, you're in a bit of a pickle. And I'm sorry for you. However, we have been warning you. We've been warning you for years. We've been saying, do you really want all those weird rainbow flag carrying people in your public education system? Do you really want 9.5 out of 10 public school teachers to be a leftist? Do you really want to teach this new version of American history? Because if you do, we guarantee you, there will be a fight and you will lose. Period. Now, I might be a little brazen in my predictions here, but there is no way capitalism goes down to what we know over many countries, over many years, will never work. Period. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Hakeem Jeffries, I tell you what, the guy's got to be freaking out. Oil prices tumbling, much to the dismay of Democrats. They want you gouged in perpetuity, anything that will stick it to Trump. Seems like everything kind of is going that guy's way, isn't it? God, sucks to be a leftist. Next on the Wendy Bell radio network.
I just ordered it.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay, what does it cost?
I got the.
You did the whole kit and caboodle, didn't you?
No.
Oh. Did you put it on my card?
No.
Okay.
I didn't want to get yelled at
as a business expense, but okay, you do you.
I will next time.
That'll just drive him crazy now for the rest of the day.
What's that?
Okay, so what'd you get? What'd you get?
I got the package, so it's like the olive oil and the balsamic vinaigrette. I got the little caps because I'm sure Kate will like them because you like them. I love them. And I ordered the raspberry balsamic vinaigrette.
I'm saying,
I think that on a salad. Look, I'm not a big salad guy.
I'm telling you what. I'm so glad that you just talked about
salmon.
100%.
Why don't you make that for lunch tomorrow?
There's also a bag that you can get of little travel side Casandrinos olive oils. So you could take it with you if you're at a restaurant and you're like, you know what kind of dressings do you have? Yeah, no, I brought my own. Thank you so much. I mean, it's so great. I'm super excited.
Who here in the chat, tell me, thinks I should put a second order in now that the business card is on the line? Because I saw some salts. You know what? You need to get a hold of them and tell them their starter pack is out. That's what I was going to buy.
Oh.
But like all that was $87, I think.
I'm telling you what.
Yeah.
So my girl,
I'm going to give it to Kate for
my
a gift.
rep. My rep said if you put all of this Casandrinos olive oil in your mouth and, good, and keep it there and swish it around, keep it in your mouth for a couple minutes and then go and spit it out in the sink and just sort of let it drip out of your mouth. She's like, it pulls toxins and things in your body out of your mouth. And I'm like, okay, what? So I'm researching that next. I'm like, I'm not going to use your freaking olive oil and spit it out. Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Home exterior renovation experts in southwestern Pennsylvania. Roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, downspouts, windows, skylights, sun tunnels, all of it. And remember, Dan is their son. He's the electrician. You're like, I need an electrician to do blah, blah, blah. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. He'll get back to you in 24 hours, find out where you live, set it up with you, bada bang, boom, done. And you're like, thank you. And it's reasonably priced. That's what we want to give you. Good stuff, great service, reasonable price. That's it, Ireland Contracting. He tried to throw me under the bus today about Chuck juice, by the way. Whatever. Anyway, the Democrat Socialists.
I could barely get the scooper out. My wrist hurts so bad.
From all your editing of sound, is that right? His carpal tunnel from
31 pieces was the final.
These elections, all these primaries. Are we supposed to feel bad? Are we worried? Are we concerned about this? Because I'm not. You just created the greatest marketing campaign for the Republican National Committee. I mean, for heaven's sakes, he's got a tattoo on his chest. He thinks God is non-binary. She thinks, from the river to the sea, dangerous for America. But not Republicans. I mean, like, seriously, in 30 seconds, we could come up with an ad campaign. That would be so great. They're screwed. And if these Democrat Socialists of America think that they're going to get DNC money, that's going to be a pickle. Isn't going to be a pickle? I think so. Your grandma's a Democrat Party, you guys. It's over. Well, let's talk about this, that high gas prices. Those must be over as well. The president touting a 60-cent fall in gas prices per gallon with the end of this Iran war. What are they going to talk about now? The straits open. People aren't getting killed. Oil is moving. The price is coming down. We were siphoning it out anyway because we're crafty. What else is going on? Border's still been closed. 13 months, 0 crossings. Costs are going to start coming down. Fraud is being exposed. We're carving back the money that was going out, trying to get it back. Deportations now. Supreme Court's like, look, you are a green card member here, green card holding member of the United States. You're not a citizen, but we're giving you the ability to stay here. And you want to commit a crime against our people? Well, bye-bye. You're going to be deported. Supreme Court upheld that. I love this, ladies and gentlemen. And as the prices per gallon come down at the pumps near you, so does an awful lot of the outrage. So does the actual fuel of the resist Trump ideology. Trump Tuesday touted a recent 60-cent fall in the gas prices as traffic continues to flow in the Strait of Hormuz on the heels of the Iran war. He was here in Pennsylvania in the Lehigh Valley at a Mack Trucks plant, and he kind of highlighted the drop in the prices and the surge in recent months due to the closure of the strait, through which about a fifth of the world's oil flows. And he's like, look, the average price nationwide is down about 60 cents. And that's just from a short while ago. And it's going to keep dropping. But look, we had to make this detour. We had unfinished business in Iran. We had the threat of terror, nuclear war, extermination of people that clerics and radical whack jobs in Iran don't like. And it was too risky. We couldn't take the chance. And so I had the stones to do what nobody else could do. And we did it. And I'm sorry that you've been taking it on the chin with the gas prices, but I think you're really going to be pleased when you see how much they plummet. And now, in the kick in the pants to everybody on the left who hates this president, he's going to come up with a way to refill the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and to do so for pennies on the dollar, unlike the way Joe Biden did when he was selling it willy-nilly to all these foreign countries and boning each of us by shutting down the Keystone XL. So gas prices dropping significantly, apparently May 23rd. National average per gallon, $4.53. Yesterday, down to $3.93. And when you look at the cost of the barrels of oil, $103 a barrel in May. So just a month ago and a couple days. And now we're down below $70 this morning. This is a major thorn in the side on the left. This is what the president had to say about the strait. It's an important comment, and it was good that he said this in Pennsylvania yesterday.
You want to see trouble? Let them have a nuclear weapon. We're doing very well with Iran. They've been decimated, and we're making a deal with them, and we'll see how that all goes. And right now, as you probably heard yesterday, we had 19 barrels of oil, 19 million barrels of oil come off, and that's the biggest in the history of the Strait, the Hormuz Strait. Our stock market is through the roof, and oil prices are tumbling. We actually hit for a moment today. In fact, I think it's going to break it, $70 a barrel. That's lower than we were when we started, and it's been amazing. And the big thing is Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
Again, for the 10 millionth time, to anybody not paying attention, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. That is this president's gift to the world. And why everybody on the left wants to resist is because he sure makes a strong point for capitalism, for make America great again, conservatism. He sure makes a great argument for loving America, for looking at wanting to hold the flag, for getting emotional when you hear the national anthem, for feeling it inside of you when you put your hand on your heart and you recite the Pledge of Allegiance. The left is running in circles, chickens with their head cut off. The right firmly aligning behind one president, one mission, making America great again, and celebrating as we are deserving of a 250th celebration of the greatest place on planet Earth. Trump said yesterday, put it out in a truth. He's like, look, any of you oil companies that want to fiddle with people's prices, you want to gouge as the national prices and the international prices come down, we're watching you. He wrote the big oil companies are not dropping their price at the pump commensurate with the sharply lower prices they're paying for oil. Those prices are dropping like a rock. In other words, customers are being gouged. I've instructed the DOJ to immediately start looking into this. Gasoline prices better start going down a lot faster than what I'm seeing. So with gas prices coming down, what else comes down? Food, clothing, cars, stuff that you need. All of a sudden, that ridiculous inflation Biden bubble we were all suffocating in goes away. And the Democrats are dealing with the socialists. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about what happened in New York yesterday. Okay? The Democrats have invited their own internal civil war thanks to unchecked migration. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's true. 100% true. Delighted to be able to. Let me see if I can get this. This one doesn't come down. Look at
Don't break my.
No, they put little stars and stripes in there, so they're so cute. But they're. Here, so this is what it looks like to have a Chef IQ Sense. This is what they look like. They're very portable. Literally, you could put it in your purse. You could put it in your luggage. You could travel with it. You could keep it in a drawer. Nobody would know. And then you go to the store and you're like, you know what, honey? I want to get one of those big, what are they called? Tomahawks. Right? You guys ever buy a tomahawk steak? Beautiful.
I bought 2 of them.
Beautiful. Thick as stones. Like, whew. And they're like $70 each, depending on where you go. So you're like, honey, let's get a couple of those. Well, I don't know how to cook that. It's thicker than normal. And I'm not going to ruin $150 of steak. This is where Chef IQ Sense comes in. ChefIQ.com, promo code Wendy. 40% off, knocks $80 off of this, down to $120. Limited edition, 250th celebration, 3 different meat thermometers, right? They gauge the internal temperature. They tell you what to do. It's not just like, oh, it's now 145 degrees. It tells you you've got about a minute before you got to flip that meat. So you better get your hiney out to the grill. And you're like, thank you. And then you go and you flip it and it tells you what to do. And then you take it off and it rests and you eat it and you're the hero. 40% off ChefIQ.com, promo code Wendy. My Lord, I'm sure this is going to be a limited edition. I've already told Brock. Give it to him.
No.
But it comes really cute. Mine got a little bit mushed in the mail, but America 250. So it's going to come in this box. Tells you everything that's in it. ChefIQ.com. Promo code Wendy. You're welcome.
So we came up with this design for the lighter.
Oh, yeah. Show everybody.
So
this is the Zippo we're going to drop.
It's going to have the logo on one side. Mm-hmm. And then you guys all said about you wanted something America 250.
Yeah, so did I.
That's going to be on the other side.
I love it. Don't you guys? America 250th. Yes. Simple. Right?
They're going to come in two colors, like a military green and a black. So
he had mentioned red or blue, and I'm like, nah, red and blue don't really strike me as a really cool lighter. I want something that's like manly. I don't know. Right? To go with my big muscles. Right? Right. Stop it.
Stop what?
You shouldn't mock me.
I wasn't mocking you. I will say, someone said the color on my side looks better today.
Right. Yeah. Remember when I told you yesterday?
They must have heard you complaining because I went this morning on the software and it was there.
It's always been there, babe. No. I've seen it.
Then why didn't you say something yesterday when I was looking for it?
I was actually just thinking about your computer. I wasn't thinking about it through StreamYard, to be perfectly honest with you. So I just kind of equated it with. Anywho. Okay, how's everybody doing? All right, join me in this one thing. Join me with the Blood Flow 7. You guys have to do it. It's time. Nitric oxide. I'm just gonna put it into perplexity, which is very liberal, which sucks. Very disappointing. What is nitric oxide? See, because that's what it is. Everything out there in the market that's like boosts your energy. You'll feel 30 years younger, right? And you're like, rah, rah, rah. I never even thought about it until Juvenon sent me this product. And I was like, I read the label and I read what they wrote about it. And I'm like, it's sort of esoteric. They're like, improve blood flow. Like, how do you know? Oh, you know. Nitric oxide is a colorless gas made of one nitrogen atom and one, I knew that, written as NO. In the body, it acts as a signaling molecule that helps relax blood vessels, supports blood flow, and also plays roles in the nervous and immune system. In simpler terms, it's a tiny molecule your body uses to help blood vessels widen, which can lower resistance to blood flow. It's also important in communication between nerve cells and in immune defense. Well, it just so happens that that's what this is. Nitric oxide. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. 30% off will change your life. I am pretty sure I can guarantee that. You take it consistently, 2 capsules a day?
Don't do 2. Do the XXX. I did 6. I went home yesterday after a long day of dealing with her and complaining about the lighting and did gravel on my driveway.
Yeah. There's just no way that you should be able to do all the stuff that you did, right? There's just, at some point you're like, this is stupid. The 2 ton of dirt that I shoveled for him.
You did not shovel 2 ton of dirt.
First of all, it's tons. It's tons. It's not ton. It's tons. There's an S. Tons. Okay? That's how we speak. Tons of dirt. I did have to open the door to see if he would walk through it. And he did, which is good. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. There you go. Oh, look, I think he...
Okay. So I don't have to keep typing. America 250 is literally trademarked by the government.
It's America 250th.
So it has to be America 250th. So that's trademarked. So we did not trademark it. They did. They were smart.
Do I have... I'm worried that I have like basil in my teeth. No? Like who Republican. How you doing? It's a great day to be you. I'm one of you, by the way. I extremely want to make America great again. Isn't that so funny? This is where we are. If we're going to look at the two political parties and these splinter groups, right? The new channel of these various parties. You've got the Democrats, socialists, Marxists, communists, whack jobs, progressives, right? Them. The people who topple statues, who throw paint on the Mona Lisa, who try to tag Stonehenge, who want to destroy everything that's fun, who want you to be miserable and slash, cut marks with razor blades in the reflecting pool, right? And then you've got that group of extreme MAGA Republicans who just really love America. Damn them, so dangerous. So dangerous when you just really want to make America great again because you're so freaking tired of everything that's been going on. You've been freaking so tired of the liberalization of the public school system and this churning of clone troopers for the left that they've fashioned, right? The grooming of kids to believe I am a victim. I must go become an activist. I'll run for office. What could go wrong, right? That's how you get to where we are. If you're a Democrat, Hakeem Jeffries is waking up going, I knew I sucked before, but now it's super confirmed. And all his expressions and ways he tries to talk to you, mercifully, we're not going to have to hear it much longer. AOC is going to be the rising star of this group, don't you think? Don't you? Let's just say roll the dice. Welcome back, by the way. Did I not just say you're welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program? I'm glad you're here with us. Okay, so you've got, AOC, who's been very quiet. For a while, people were like, she should run for president. I'm like, please do. Please do. I think that would be fantastic. I think she's laying low. She's ready to jump in because the progressives are going to need that intermediary. Wacko, but not completely off the reservation yet, and she knows how to deal with people. She will be their person that they will pick if they take back the House. Hakeem Jeffries, he's going to get ousted too. He's going to get Liz Cheney'd, which is exactly what happened to Dan Goldman yesterday. So let's talk about this. Socialism is the Democrat Party's new jam now, and Jews are not welcome anymore. Well, I want you to chew on that for a little bit. If you're a Jewish person in this country, why ever would you vote Democrats? Because they don't support you. They don't support what you think, what you feel, how you are. They don't protect your safety. They don't stick up for you. You are now public enemy number one to the extreme radical left. The Democrats have invited their own internal civil war thanks to unchecked migration that the left, championed for decades. And now old guard Democrats are facing the end of their political control. It's got to be terrifying because none of these people is talented to do anything other than lie to you as they, quote unquote, serve you in Congress. So Dan Goldman loses to progressive Brad Lander, a former New York City comptroller who's also, if I'm not wrong, the head of the New York State's Progressive Caucus, because that makes good sense. Goldman is the fifth House incumbent, by the way, to lose a primary so far in 2026 as a swath of voters expresses frustration with their party leaders. So here is the story. I mean, and it wasn't even close. This Brad Lander guy got 65%. Dan Goldman, who was the architect lawyer of the impeachment of Donald Trump. This was that guy. He was the guy who was the Democrat. He's not extreme enough. He's too moderate for this Democrat Party. What? Democratic Representative Dan Goldman has lost his New York City primary to former city comptroller Brad Lander, following a battle that highlighted Democrat divisions over Israel and showcased the clout of Mayor Zoran Mamdani, who backed Lander. Lander won in New York's 10th congressional district. Super Democrat. Amid a wave of challenges from Mamdani allies to sitting members of Congress, as Mamdani looks to build on his momentum from last year's election and further reshape the city's politics. How do you guys think that's going to go? Is that going to go well? Education's going to get better. Housing is going to get cheaper. Food's going to become free. Same with transportation. Streets will be cleaned up. Homeless will be taken care of. The drug-addled, mentally ill, the zombies. I'm sure it'll all be perfect. No, Gotham City is on its way. Goldman is the 5th House incumbent to lose a primary so far, as a bunch of Democrats are tired of kind of namby-pamby regular Democrats. This is wild. I want you to hear Brad Todd last night. He's a Republican strategist. He's over on a panel at CNN. He's like, this party has been officially hijacked by socialists who, quite frankly, made Hakeem Jeffries the biggest loser of the night last night.
But they're pulling the brand leftward. I mean, the Democratic Party now is the Democratic Socialist Party of America. They're for anti-Semitism. They're for confiscation. They're against capitalism.
Come on, we're
this
for
is what's
anti-Semitism.
This
That's
is what's
obscene.
happening.
That's
this
an
is what's
obscene
happening.
statement.
And you know, you also can look tonight and see somebody else is a big loser. That's Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries is going to lose these races in New York, where Zoran Mandami
He didn't endorse in these races.
He did endorse. He endorsed Goldman. He endorsed his incumbent members of Congress. If he can't get the Hispanic caucus chairman across the line in a city where he's the leading figure of the political machine, then his stick is very short in the U.S. Capitol. And that's because Hakeem Jeffries himself, as liberal as he is not far left enough for today's Democratic primary vote.
Hakeem Jeffries, as liberal as he is not far enough left. If you chew on that for a minute, that's wild. So progressives and socialists are now the arbiters of America's moral conscience. And according to them, Jews get nothing. You're the real enemy. This is extraordinarily scary. You know, it's interesting to me, the party that is supposed to be so inclusive and so kind. We're so welcoming. We're feeling. We care. We care. We work so hard for you. And we'll come and we'll fight for you. As long as you're not a Jew. If you're a Jew, well, then screw off. That's where we are. This is your Democrat Party. It's scary. Did you hear what happened to Dan Goldman? Obviously a Jew representing the 10th Congressional District who lost the primary last night over the weekend. Like, this is gross. He goes into a coffee shop in Brooklyn, and apparently his little girl needs to use the bathroom. She's 7. And whomever the barista is very nice and let them go use the restroom. And as they come out, Goldman, who wasn't intending on buying anything, wanted to say thank you for your hospitality. Creepily, and there was nothing wrong. Nothing happened. He got his coffee, out they went, and day went along as usual. Until later that evening, when somebody looking at the surveillance camera of this little coffee shop in Brooklyn saw Dan Goldman at the counter and decided to take video of the video and put it up on their social media page, basically being like, you are never welcome here again. It was the grossest thing. I want you to hear as Dana Bash on CNN sets up this story and what this pro-Palestine coffee shop posted online afterwards. This is what the Democrat Party has created. This fringe wackadoodlery that it has fomented so long as it resisted Trump. Well, they're resisting Jews now. Listen.
Congressman Dan Goldman stopped in Poetica Coffee in Brooklyn on Sunday with his 7-year-old daughter who used the restroom. He said they were so kind that he bought a coffee. Afterwards, Poetica's social media account posted a picture of Goldman at the cashier counter with this message. Hey, Rep. Goldman, we see that you stopped by our shop today for a coffee. Do you see how it doesn't taste like genocide juice, or are you still having a hard time telling the difference? See, here at Poetica, we don't serve racists, fascists, homophobes, genocide enablers, or anyone in between. Too bad we didn't recognize you right away, or we would have turned you away. We issued you a refund. We don't need your money. It's probably coming from AIPAC anyways. Enjoy your loss on Tuesday. Don't ever come to Poetica.
I don't even know what to say. How do you call yourself a liberal? That's called hateful. That's anti-Semitic. That's disgusting. That's feeling very common here on the left, far left, progressive left. And Dana Bash has some video of Dan Goldman speaking with Sarah, one of I forget her last name, one of the hosts on CNN. And he literally is a deer in the headlights, like gut punch, stunned. It's gross when you see it live in real color.
Now, that post has since been taken down, but the congressman did respond on social media. He said, "I'm sorry to see this post. The barista could not have been nicer to my 7-year-old daughter and me, allowing her to use the bathroom, even though we had not purchased anything. I made sure to buy a coffee in return for her kindness. I hope you at least make sure she gets the tip that she deserved." Last night, he spoke to CNN's Laura Coates.
It's a reflection, I think, of a sad state of affairs that without knowing me, we could have had such a nice interaction. Two people, obviously from different backgrounds, different faiths, but that's what America is. And that's what New York City is. That is what I believe in. I am a strong proponent of equal rights, of civil rights, of human rights. And what is going on in the Middle East is horrific. And the idea of accusing someone who you don't know of, supporting a genocide, I mean, it's crazy.
It's so interesting when the shoe was on the other foot, isn't it? Because that's what they do, right? Is it really crazy hating people you don't even know, like extreme MAGA Republicans? Right, Dan. Well, Scott Jennings was able to, I think, kind of put a stamp on it last night on his CNN panel, talking about the left's and the panel's silence on anti-Semitism and what happened to Congressman Goldman.
I'm surprised you sort of glossed over the main issue in this race, which is Israel. I mean, Dan Goldman is a congressman, and he's Jewish, and he went into a coffee shop this weekend in Brooklyn, and they said, "You're not welcome here anymore." Brad Lander is out speaking in mosques, telling those people that he'd like to go align himself with Ilhan Omar and the rest of the squad. Dan Goldman's only sin, I guess, is that he thinks Israel has a right to exist. And for that, that has been the principal issue in this. And you've got the mayor of New York City, Mamdani, out saying about AIPAC and Jewish Americans who have participated in our politics that they are, quote, monsters. What is happening right now in New York City, the Democrat socialist takeover of the Democratic Party, should frighten not just Jewish Americans, but all Americans everywhere, because this is the direction the Democrats are headed nationally. Look what's happening in Michigan, and it is frightening. Throwing Democrat Jewish congressmen out of coffee shops in Brooklyn, New York, it's not 1930s Germany. This is the United States of America.
Very interesting commentary about 1930s Germany, sort of foreshadowing ahead what is coming. Well, when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, CNN's data guru says what he is watching right now is the biggest political shift of at least his lifetime. How the data might actually prove it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Before we get moving, I want to thank Dr. Simkovich, Dr. Charles Simkovich, and the Simkovich Concussion Institute. I think one of the most awful things to live with in your life is fear, and fear of never getting better and never finding hope, especially if you are like millions of Americans who suffer traumatic brain injuries every year from falls, from accidents, from sports, or what have you. Traumatic brain injuries, concussions, and most doctors aren't really trained on how to treat a broken brain, because the injury doesn't show up on an X-ray. You don't see it on an MRI scan. You need an expert who can diagnose you, but you need a much bigger expert who can then fix you. And that guy is Dr. Simkovich, Dr. Charles Simkovich. Not only does he heal people, he gives you hope back that, you can go back to living your life. You can go back to not being edgy and feeling paranoid. You can go back to feeling without headaches, living without headaches, all of that. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Yes, he's in Pittsburgh. Treatment usually is a week or less. If that is worth it to you to get your life back on track, 412-366-3700. I 100% think it is. I know it is. 412-366-3700. You have nothing to lose. Truly. It's weird. I look at this. I look at Dan Goldman, and he was such an ass during President Trump's impeachment. And quite frankly, he's such an ass in general. Yes. And it's interesting to see people who are playing a part because they're auditioning for a role and they need the director to choose them. Then when they get off set and actually put the lines down and tell you honestly who they are. You can tell he was wounded by that and scared by that interchange at that coffee shop. But it's not surprising. It's almost how I feel about John Fetterman when the Democrats picked up and left his reservation because he wasn't one of those malleable blobs that they could just hook, line, and sinker tell what to do. He was a free-thinking and educated individual. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, I don't believe that. And then they just abandoned ship. And he's got more support now with Republicans who don't agree with him 93% of the time. But he is more reasonably handled on the right than he is on the rapid left. Par for the course. Right? But you can almost see like he was baffled. Like, this is what it's all about? Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, it is. And it's gross. It's not about America. Isn't that funny? It's not about America. It's not about you. It's never been. And that, once you realize that, it pisses you off. It does. It makes me angry.
It's sad when you hear people like Jessica Tarlov on The Five.
Who's Jewish.
Defend it and try to play semantics with it's different between
so you'd vote
Israel's
for Graham Plattner, the guy
Jews.
with the Nazi tattoo, as a Jew?
Yeah, and she's like, I'd struggle.
Who might have connections with the Holocaust, probably does, and just 2 generations away, you'd think about voting for this guy. Okay. Trump's going to come out smelling like roses out of all of this. He already does.
Every Republican is.
Well, my boyfriend, actually, I broke up with him. He got a little biased, didn't he?
Again?
I know. It's hard to keep track.
This is a weird relationship, on and off and on and off. I mean, geez.
If I like what he says, he can come back into the fray and be a boyfriend. But if he's going to continue peddling this nonsense, well, I'm going to break up. Anyway, Harry Enton is the goofball data guru guy over at CNN, and I like him most oftentimes, even when I disagree with him. But he said something yesterday, which was really interesting, watching these results. Before the results were really coming in, he was talking with the co-anchor, John Berman, about this huge political shift in the Democrat Party and how it's really the most significant shift that he's watched, a political shift in his lifetime. He's like, look, Democrat socialists are hot for sure. He's like, Monday before New York's primary, he said the prediction markets were telling us that Dan Goldman, an incumbent, was going to get clobbered by a nobody. And wow, was that correct? Listen.
I don't think that Israel has played a bigger role in any district any more than in this particular district. We are talking about New York's 10th district. I mean, chance to be the New York 10 Dem nominee. Dan Goldman, the incumbent, a hero of the Trump first impeachment trial among Democrats, only has a 3% chance of actually holding on to his Democratic designation to be the Dem nominee in this particular race. Brad Lander, who was last seen running for mayor in New York City, 98% chance. The reason why Dan Goldman is in trouble is because of the issue of Israel. He is seen by many in that district as being too pro-Israel. Lander has the endorsement of Zohran Mamdani, who, obviously when it comes to the issue of Israel, has been much more pro-Palestinian than pro-Israeli.
So both of these guys are Jewish, right? Pretty sure Harry is, pretty sure. John Berman, yes. To stand there as the news presenters watching this really worrisome and disgusting trend of just blanket not liking a group of people because you don't like their history, or you don't like Benjamin Netanyahu, or you don't like what's been going on. It's got to be very uncomfortable for them. And Harry says, people don't like Israel. They do not like Netanyahu. In just 2.5 years, the New York Times and Siena polling show a 47-point shift in support for Palestinians.
I mean, just look at the change over the past few years. You go back to late 2023, who Dem voters sympathized more with. It was basically an even split, but perhaps slightly more with the Israelis than the Palestinians, 34% to 31%. Look at this Israeli percentage, though. Down through the ground, look at this, now just 16%. This Palestinian percentage, about doubled. The percentage of Democrats who say they sympathize more with the Palestinians has about doubled in just 2.5 years. Look at that, from 31% to now the clear majority of Democrats now say they sympathize more with the Palestinians than the Israelis, a 60% to 16%. So a 3-point spread in favor of Israel has become what? A 44-point spread in favor of the Palestinians in terms of who Democratic voters sympathize more with.
Okay, so this is the part that got me. So in New York 10, this is the congressional district that Dan Goldman has represented since 2023. Lower Manhattan, parts of Western Brooklyn, heavily Jewish, and Goldman still got clobbered. Why? Oh boy.
If you know anything about New York 10, you know that it is one of the most heavily Jewish congressional districts in the country. And so you might say to yourself, hey, why what applies nationally would necessarily apply in New York 10? Well, this is one of the more interesting questions and crosssteps that I have seen. Did Israel commit genocide in Gaza? This is among Jewish Democrats. And even among Jewish Democrats, the majority of Jewish Democrats say yes. 52% do believe that Israel committed genocide in Gaza, compared to just 39% who say no.
I think some of this is just baffling, and it's going to have to be wrestled with on the left. An AIPAC endorsement, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, an AIPAC endorsement is now the kiss of death, with only 5% of Democrats saying it would make them more likely to vote for a candidate, and 53% saying an AIPAC endorsement would make it less likely for them to be voted for. AIPAC endorsed Dan Goldman, right? Something is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and it is not looking pretty for the left. So what does the right do? What do Republicans do? Well, it's now a battle between common sense and crazy. I'm going to take you to the Lehigh Valley, some words by the president, and then, oh my, Brock's girl Sparkle, the judge. Oh yeah, we got to talk about that, babe. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's okay, Brock. It's okay to have girls. By the way, I'm just going to say this. One of the most, it could just be, and it could be very good with tequila. Not like they would want me to say that. But my Dr. Gundry's Healthy Fat, the healthyfat.com/Wendy that we put into my thing every day. I have Perrier in there today. I know, hoity-toity 1%.
That's that 1% water.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you.
Pay extra for the bubbles.
It's freaking, you have to come in here and try it.
No.
Would you please?
No.
Please?
No.
Please?
No.
Please?
No.
It's so good. Like if I had a little bit of lime and went, and maybe of, it could be a great cocktail. I'm just telling you, it's so tasty. And with a little fizz, how you doing? Anyway, the real thing about this drink mix, watermelon lemonade, is delicious. Is that this is how Dr. Gundry lost 70 pounds. This powder, you're already drinking water. Why wouldn't you get his powder, put it in there, and then it kills your appetite for a chunk of hours? And then when you're not hungry for 4 or 5, 6 hours, what are you not doing? You're missing a meal. You're skipping a meal. Fewer calories in, scale goes down. Dr. Gundry's MCT Wellness, but we call it the healthyfat.com, the healthy fat, because There's a video you have to watch, but it's actually worthwhile because he tells you about a lot of the things that you're doing before you even start your day that are derailing your weight loss agenda. thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. I'm telling you, it's almost fancy.
I'm not fancy.
Duh.
I don't want to get a taste for something that I can't afford.
Oh my God.
My bottle of water comes at $6.
I don't
Perrier comes at $22.
Why would you buy water? Why do you buy bottled water? Now that you have your new water filtration system, which we're going to have to start talking about.
I haven't bought water in a while.
You haven't bought water in a while? Come and try it.
I hate you.
I know you do.
I hate everything about you.
Mm-hmm.
Literally everything about you.
I know. I know. A lot of people do. It's
Yeah.
okay. You'll get over it or not. Winning. Oh my goodness. Okay. Anywho, I'm still drinking the collagen, by the way. So if you bought the collagen, even though they've hit pause on advertising with us, I do love it. I do love it. And I think it makes a huge difference. And I'm going to do it every single day. I'm not going to stop. I mean, I'm not going to just tell you something that I like something. And if the sponsor stops sponsoring me, be like, well, I don't like them anymore. Like literally, I'm telling you, I love this stuff. It's great.
I don't also want to taint my chuck juice with your water.
Whatever. All right. I'm going to tell a little story. So, I haven't told you guys about Bedside Blend. How you doing? Oh, yeah. Little body butter. Here, wait. See? This is the little scooper thing that I told you about.
Makes me think of those little ice cream.
That's why I was saying that. Yeah. So, get your little guy. A little bit. I'm going to take that much, right?
You know, she never offers that for me.
Even just putting it on your arms and your neck and your chest before you go to bed. It smells so good. And there are special ingredients in Tulip Bloom's evening products, the bedside blends, that are meant to calm you, that are meant to lead you off into the sunset. Close your eyes and get restful, meaningful sleep. Bedside blend. I'm telling you. And watch, what'll happen is you put it on, you get this nice sheen on your skin, but you don't feel oily. Like I have no oily feeling at all. Their stuff is extraordinary. If you've never bought nice skincare, and I'll tell you, I never did. I've spent gobs on my face, but not so much my skin. And now that I have tulipblooms.shop/Wendy, once you start using their products, you can't stop. Because going back to something that's just a regular thick lotion, it's sort of like, ugh. And I was a big fan of just Jergens, that original, what was it? Cherry almond, their original flavor, smell. I love it.
Flavor, what are you eating?
Right. It feels heavy. When you put this on, you literally touch your skin and your hands just glide. It's so beautiful. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. I keep saying buy it for somebody you love. Buy it for you. Love you. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. We make a percentage of the sales. It's not like I'm not getting rich off of it, but I really do want to share with you this product because I love the people who make it. I love the whole philosophy behind it. And I know I use it every single day. Every single day. I use a Tulip Blooms product probably every 6 hours.
Jeez.
Every 6 hours. I use it here multiple times. I go home. There's the velour massaging oil right next to the kitchen sink. So after I'm done doing dishes, let it sink in. How you doing? And on your feet too. It's pretty nice. All right, let's see what's going on out there, guys.
Amanda says, I loved Gold Bond restoring lotion, but they quit making it. Then what are you complaining about? Now you can get Tulip Blooms.
Gold Bond. Gold Bond's key. Gold Bond's very important. Hey, Froggy. Why are you sending me money, honey? That was a very nice, unexpected, and unnecessary, what should we call it? Donation? It kind of sounds like you're a pimp a little bit if I call it other than that. Wendy, you and Brock have lunch on me. You're very sweet. Thank you.
Won't see lunch out of that.
He's a doll. Thank you for that. All right, so let's.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump, 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going anywhere. Even if Trump does, you're not, which I think remains one of our big campaign strengths going forward. They can't separate you from Trump. From Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Hey! Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell Radio Program is live. You know, I want to thank you guys because you have given Brock and me such a great opportunity to do what we both enjoy doing and to do it together in front of you, with you, because of you, and do something I think different from other places. You know what's most important to me of all of this? My oldest son, Michael, works for me on this program. He's the guy who manages our social media. He puts out all of the little media shorts, the reels, the video clips every single day, does it every single day. And do you know what that means that my oldest son, Michael, who's 26, has to do? He has to listen to me every single day. That connection, speaking, him listening, not us necessarily talking about politics, has led to the evolution of an extraordinarily intelligent, clear-eyed, conservative man in my oldest son. I didn't try to do that. But when you sit down and you listen to the lunacy that the left serves every day, and then you juxtapose that with what this president is trying to do, whether it's world peace, stopping wars, stopping nuclear threats, stopping invasions of our country, bringing down costs, making things better, you're kind of forced to see the choice. And my son hears it and sees it every day, and he's chosen to be a common sense conservative man. I'm so grateful, you guys. I'm grateful to you for that. Because it is this next generation, this Generation Z, that's going to have to look at this pile of garbage these folks on the left are serving. Because none of them talks about hard work. They don't talk about individual spirit, entrepreneurial drive. They don't talk about dreams. They don't talk about thinking outside of the box. They don't encourage people to pick themselves up regardless of their circumstances and push forward and find that dream. Do what makes your heart skip a beat. Go find your joy. It's there. You can do it. You don't hear that on the left. You hear government is holding you back. People are racist. They don't like you. You'll never get heard. Everything negative. That's not the country I want. That's not the country my sons want. This is the time more than ever for us to speak like this. President Trump did yesterday. He's here in the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania. He's at a Mack Trucks plant, right? And he's obviously, this is the kickoff of the midterm campaigning. And he said something very basic. He's like, look, I haven't always been in politics. You know, I've been in real estate and development and other such businesses. But he's always been interested, he said, in politics. I've always enjoyed watching it. But I got to tell you, I've never seen a political climate like the one we're in right now. And he hits the nail on the head. Listen.
And my whole life I've watched politicians say, we will cut your taxes. We will cut. I never heard these people say, we will raise your taxes. This country has gotten very strange politically, especially with all the communists that are up for election. You know, you have communists. These aren't socialists. These are communists. And they're all up. How about the guy in Maine? He's got the Nazi stickers. He's got the whole deal, and they're trying to say so for 8 years, 10 years, they said Trump is a Nazi. Now they can't say that anymore because they have a guy with a tattoo on his chest. It's unbelievable.
Is it though? Is it really unbelievable? Well, it's almost like Trump put himself in the crosshairs, literally and figuratively, for us to see the depths of derangement, how nutty people get, how completely unconventionally they will behave, how far they will go to twist themselves in knots simply to resist this one man who the left has whipped into the demon of this country. And it just doesn't make any sense. And then you've got people like this Biden judge, Sparkle Suknanen, who has taken her time now, appointed by Biden. She's been on the bench for a hot second. And she's blocking President Trump and this administration for cleaning up the voter rolls. Okay, I want to just read you 4 paragraphs so you know what's at play here and you can hear what this woman, how she rules against this idea that we should have up-to-date voter rolls where only citizens who are alive, that we can verify, that we can prove who they are, should be voting. A Biden-appointed federal judge who quit her previous job as partner at the Jones Day law firm because they did work for the first Trump administration, chew on that for a minute, just ruled against the administration's plan to create a database to verify citizenship to be able to vote in the U.S. elections. Judge Sparkle Suknanen ruled on Monday that officials across several government agencies, quote, haphazardly combined and repurposed the private information of millions of Americans, including citizenship data that they knew to be unreliable, in order to comply with the Trump administration's attempts to implement election integrity measures. Basically, what she's saying is, no, I don't want you to see the voter rolls. You shouldn't be able to do that. You're invading people's privacy. Really? Does that hold water to you guys? In March, as an executive order Trump signed, directed the Social Security Administration to create a state citizenship list. It was derived from its data, naturalization records, and all this other SAVE database data to be cross-referenced with the states. State has this, federal documents say this. Let's marry these two things together, see who is who, and figure out who's dead and who's fake. And this woman was like, no, I don't think so, because it really kind of tramples people's privacy rights. I don't really care about your privacy. I don't care how private you want to be. If you're not from my country and you want to steal my vote, you can suck it. And so can Sparkle, right? This is where we are. It was so eye-opening, this decision, this judge, this wackadoodlery. Laura Ingraham last night has Ohio Congressman, who did she have on last night, Brock? Oh my gosh, Jim Jordan. And she has him on and she's like, can you believe this Biden appointee is literally judging from the bench that the Trump administration should not know how many dead people or people who are fake or illegal are voting in our elections? Here's Laura Ingraham, part 1.
Meet U.S. District Court Judge Sparkle Suknanen. Confirmed to the bench in 2025, she's a Biden appointee. And she just ruled against the SAVE system, the systematic checks of the voter rules. In her decision, she said that the federal government has knowingly trampled on the privacy rights of American citizens in a manner that threatens the sacred right to vote. This country cannot stand idly by while that happens.
What does that even mean? That is the sanctimonious do-goodery of idiocy in a nutshell. Then Laura brings on Jim Jordan, who's like, wait a minute. This woman, this judge, her ruling is a punch in the face to every honest and law-abiding citizen.
You understand what she ruled against, Laura. The federal government has a list of people who are in the country on some kind of visa who are not citizens. States have lists of their residents who are on the voter registration rolls. So President Trump said with his executive order last year, match up the list and find out who's on the voter registration rolls, who are participating in our elections, who should not be, because our law doesn't allow foreigners to vote in our elections. That is how common sense his executive order was. Simply let him match up lists. Now, a bunch of red states sent in their lists. Some blue states did, and what they find? Thousands of people were on the voter registration list in states that were not citizens. That's what he's trying to get at, and this judge says no. Somehow that tramples on rights? No. Your decision tramples on common sense, for goodness sake, and that is so much of what's at stake here. Common sense versus the crazy decisions of the left and some of these judges.
Common sense versus crazy. And it was interesting. Newsmax had on border czar Tom Homan last night, and he's talking about this DC District Court judge who wanted to block President Trump's expedited removal of illegal aliens. The left wants to keep all of the people they brought into this country, you guys, for a reason. And Tom Homan nails it.
That 4 years open borders wasn't an accident. It wasn't mismanagement. It wasn't incompetence. That was by design. Release millions of illegal aliens in our sanctuary cities. And they overturned the Trump census rule, which means they'd be counted in the next census, which means what? More seats in the House for the Dems. And they're hoping that another Democratic administration comes in and awards amnesty to millions of illegal aliens. This is about future political power. They don't care about national security. They don't care about public safety. All they care about is future political power. They sold this country out for future political power, and she's part of it.
100% correct. And in those 40 seconds, Tom Homan just told you what is the game. And it's all about the numbers. They haven't come this far, giving millions of people every freebie under the sun and sticking you with the bill without getting their vote across the finish line. Come hell or high water, they're going to get it done. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, another monster win for Trump at the Supreme Court. Not good news for green card holders who want to break our laws. Bye-bye. Next. My bad, Brock. I skipped right by it. I didn't even see it.
Good thing I was paying attention.
Good thing you were paying attention. You always do, though, which is fun, wonderful for me. Thank you. I have to give you one of these tonight. Would you take a call mood later?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah. You're running low, though.
I know.
I get one. It's rationed. I feel like I'm in 1930 Germany.
Yes, except you'd be getting kicked. Call mood, Healthy Cell. HealthyCell.com. You know, I have stuff that I'm supposed to read about them, and I never do because I like to tell you my personal experiences with them. But let's see what I can pull up here. Somebody gave me a calm mood testimonial because there's a Healthy Cell formula for everybody. So the one that we have, let's just say we're talking about the one for bone strength. So I'm about 120 pounds. I'm 5'7". I have relatively small bones, right? And so bone health, osteoporosis, it's something I think about. There's also something for your heart and vascular system, which will have to do with blood flow. There's something for blood sugar, blood pressure. There is a Healthy Cell formula gel pack for eyesight, for your hair, your skin, and your nails, for your calm, dialing you back rather than taking a Xanax because you feel like you're going to have a panic attack. All you do is you open it up and take it in your mouth, Swallow it. It's it's like a berry lemon flavor. Are you taking it now? Well, there you go. So he's taking it. It literally is a zip, and you just in your mouth. And
it's actually really good.
Berry lemon is quite delicious. Their flavors are delicious. And for instance, one of those is going to have the nutrients and the supplements of like 12 different pills. So you're not like, you're able to streamline a lot of the things that you're taking if you look at the ingredients into one microgel pack. I think the company is fantastic. And I think you're really going to notice like this really nice, comfortable, competent calm that comes over you. I love it. I take it every single day before this show. healthycell.com/Wendy.
We kicking Laura 3?
Yeah. I'm tired of the left supporting everybody who's anti what I care about. They've chosen all the wrong heroes or all the wrong people to prop up. I find it very interesting that the left, too, is the one that's so insistent on you giving up your guns.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
It's just so weird, isn't it?
They can suck it.
Well,
I might just get more.
Do we have 2,000 rumbles yet, guys? 270 to go. Just that thumbs up bubble underneath the video box, underneath my face.
Since the company card did play again.
And can we please click the follow button? I didn't say it's in play again. What'd you say?
You said to use the company card for olive oil? No, I used my own. But
yeah, I know you didn't, which is why
next time I'm at
it.
the gun store.
No.
You know, hey.
That's not a sanctioned experience, team building experience. Unless we go out on the range.
Oh, let's go.
And blast through a lot of ammo. When are we getting our ARs? We're getting 2 custom-made AR-15s. That the left always seems to support things that cost us money, that require we sacrifice something that we care about. We've got to cave on some basic tenet of our foundation that they don't have to. You got to give up a little freedom. You got to nudge a little bit, kind of give a little. No, see, I don't want to. I don't think I need to change who I am or lose anything under this guise of freedom or fairness or equality. Tell me what I can do as a white woman in our government system, in our electoral system right now, that a black man or a black woman couldn't. Well, what's your privilege? You have a privilege in that regard, or do we all as citizens, regardless of our plumbing or our skin, if you're a citizen, you get 1 vote. That's it. That's the story. We're all equal in that regard. That's what we all get. And I find it so laughable that the left constantly champions these imaginary evils that are threatening to all of us. Hurry, act now. And you're like, no, I'm kind of good. I like where we are. I didn't like where we were in the last 4 years, the 4 years of Joe Biden, but I think we've made great strides. Anybody else feel that way? I do. And so now we're on the cusp of this really interesting time. Supreme Court is being asked to adjudicate some of these issues. If you are a visitor in this country, right? You're not going to become a citizen. You're not going to go through the process. You're a visitor, and you are a lawful visitor, lawful citizen, basically, without becoming a United States citizen. You're a lawful resident is a better way of saying it. And you commit a crime, and you hurt people in this country. Should you be allowed to stay here, or should you be deported back to your home country? I'm really very unforgiving in this. You want to bone us over. You want to hurt us, swindle us, rape us, murder us. Get the hell out of my country. I don't think that's wrong for me to say. See, everybody on the left wants to protect anybody at all costs who could possibly get across the finish line and pull the lever, right? So the Supreme Court yesterday, or Monday, says green card holders can be treated differently at the border if they're accused of a crime. And this was a complete party line vote. It was nonsensical or a brainless vote, I think, if you're a conservative. So this is the story. The Supreme Court on Tuesday issued a decision in a case examining the rights of permanent residents who've been accused of committing crimes that could put them at the risk of being deported from the United States. There's this guy, Mak Choi Lau. He's a Chinese national, became a permanent U.S. resident, not a citizen, but a permanent resident in 2007. He was arrested in New Jersey in 2012, peddling fake counterfeit designer clothing. Right? He sold $300,000 worth of knockoff shorts. So while awaiting trial, he left the United States, bounced to China for a while, tried to come back in same year, but he was stopped by the Department of Homeland Security. And he argued, right, that he should have been treated as a permanent resident upon his return and should not have been forced to reapply for admission. The court said he could be asked to reapply after being charged with a crime. Now, how is this complicated to anybody? You don't go to another country like Thailand and spit gum on the sidewalk and then get caned like 40 days in a row and squawk about their rules. It's a little bit different over there, or Singapore or whatever. You don't go break other people's laws. But here in the United States, it's like willy-nilly. Who cares? Why? Because you've got a bunch of sniveling, groomed, public educated, and created clone trooper activist leftists, some of whom climb up their way, ascend their way on the bench with these political appointments, these judicial appointments by Biden and Obama and others. And they stand there and they rule consistently against the United States of America. They rule consistently to screw you over, to make your neighborhood unsafe, to make your bills higher, and always in favor of people who trample on the goodness, the kindness, and the graciousness of this host country to them, the United States of America. I'm done with it. I don't expect you to come over to my house and take off your shoes necessarily, but if you've been walking in the mud and you don't kick them off outside before you come in, I reserve the right to throw you out. How complicated is this? The degree to which these judges have been trying to stymie this president and consistently defend the people who break our laws and take our money and use our systems that are meant for Americans and then kick you in the face and vote for you in our elections. I don't know, guys. I think you got enough people who are freaking tired of it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it's almost like I'm fussy, right? Speaking of the high court, Democrats have a new strategy to take back the House. Just kidding. It's the same old thing. They've got no plan. Next. I did it twice. That's 2 sound bites I've talked over that Brock took from me. I'm sorry. I was a little fussy with that one.
Card's back in play.
What is?
Card.
The card is not back in play.
I'm in need of something.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that I swear every time I go to Gettysburg, we go to the gun store.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes all of me, because I'll see something I like, not to buy it. It's like being
tattoos.
a kid.
It's like tattoos. Once you have one, you want 50.
Yeah, like it's like being a kid when Christmas time comes. And remember when you used to get those thick like Sears books and they have all the toys in the back and you're circling and ripping pages out, realizing Santa Claus is going to stiff you again.
You know what? You know what we should buy with the corporate card? We should buy one of those psychiatric tables.
Oh, because one of us needs it.
No, one of the psychiatric couches, so you can just lean back and lament the many ways in which you've been wronged in your life.
Can it be a massaging couch? Like one of those ones that massages and heats and. Just saying.
Wendy loves gold. I do love gold. I do love anything that I think I can pass down to my children. It's interesting with my in-laws now older, and my dad older, my mom gone. There are a lot more conversations from my in-laws and my parents about where things are, and if something should happen to me, there's a file, or this person is the one who has all the details. And it's like this constant thought as a parent about how are you going to pass down to your children your ultimate gift on your deathbed is passing whatever wealth you have left onto them. And Texas Bullion, wendylovesgold.com, it's one of those things, having gold or silver, what a phenomenal gift to pass on to people that you love. And whether it's a gold-backed IRA that you want to get into precious metals, or you literally just want to hold it in your hand. Because I'll tell you what, there's something pretty special about holding a gold coin in your hand and being like, that's $5,500 right there. It's pretty slick. wendylovesgold.com, 855-927-5557. That's our number to them, and they love us. So they're going to be like, I'm going to fight for you over this phone call, and they'll walk you through the process. So if you're sitting on cash, or you'd like to open up your ideas about saving for retirement, the idea that you can pass on gold and silver to your kids, to me, is extraordinarily alluring. 855-927-5557. Extraordinarily alluring. All right.
So I think we'll have them after the 4th. I have to get them because they're short barrel, and they're both in my name because I bought both the lowers. And then I'll just have to transfer it to you. Mm-hmm. But I have to get them registered to me first.
I'm hearing a lot of have tos and want tos and need tos, but not a whole lot of actual progress here. So
you can see the bill from the gun store. There was a pistol there last time that I really liked.
So what's the difference between a pistol and other handguns?
Well,
all
different types.
pistols?
I have a 380 bullet size. I have a revolver. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have an AR. Mm-hmm. I have my, not with me, my SIG. This is a pistol. Mm-hmm. I think I'm due for a new one. Frog in my throat. Wouldn't it make you feel good to buy me protection?
Somebody else is throwing me money. Hey, John. Brock's company credit card, She Shed Fund. Hey, John is always connected to your needs. I'll tell you.
Start with the She Shed Fund and get to the gun fund. That's gun and ammo.
No. Hi, Doc Wombat. What's going on, Darius?
The shoot will happen soon, so you better load up on ammo.
Hi, John. Hi, the cunning linguistic. Hi, Rosebud. What's going on, Ray Dev? Hi, Donald Blue, Mr. Black Dog. Hi, D. Creech. Or D.C. Reach. I don't know. What's going on, Sherry? Hi, Ginge. I haven't seen you in a while, babe. Panteras, how are you? Hi, Jazzman.
1 for yes, 2 for no. Brock should get a gun.
Hi, PP.
On the company card.
Or Pippi. Hi, Bowling Mom. Wow, parking in Philly for the World Cup, $150. Shut the front door. Hi, Dee Dee. What's going on, Danae?
I see a lot
Hi,
of ones.
Ruth.
I like it.
Hi, Pope. Hi, Clontool. How are you, honey?
One.
Hi, Sodium Podium.
One.
Now, if you could get them to do that in the comments section.
Oh, do it in the comment section.
Oh, wow. That's great. Thanks, Brock. Really?
Comment section.
Mm-mm.
Brock gets a gun.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. It is so weird. You guys make the day go by so quickly. We're at the halfway mark. And I know you're sitting there thinking, my goodness, I can't get enough of this woman. She's fabulous. Which is why you need to go get our podcast, Wendy Bell Radio, wherever you get your favorite podcast. I hope you join us. 8.2 million downloads, nothing to sneeze at. I'm delighted you guys are a part of this. All right, so we are keeping an eye on the Supreme Court. Look, there is a system in this country, and the system was designed many, many years ago by some really smart people who understood what it was like living under a monarch. And so when this fledgling country was first born 250 years ago, they set up these three co-equal branches of government. And the whole point of the three co-equal branches is to keep an eye on one another so that not one is more powerful than another. Because I don't know about you guys, but greed and power and money and influence for a lot of people can be absolutely intoxicating. And they completely change in front of your very eyes. And you're like, whoa, what happened to Phil? Right? And so the founders were like, nobody's going to have supreme power. Not a president, not a House of Representatives, and not a court system. We're all going to keep an eye on one another so things don't get haywire. So now, whenever the Democrats lose, and they just got clobbered big time last night by the socialist wing of their party, they bring up the same talking points that they do all the time. It's not about we're going to listen to the people. We're going to hear what our voters want. And we're going to create a platform that delivers a set of promises to those voters and creates a pact with them. That's not how it works with the Democrats. Democrats have to glom onto something that's some kind of an enemy, some kind of an evil, some kind of a wrong, because the Democrat base is primarily emotional, not necessarily factual, emotional. They are reactive, right? And so if you have a booga, 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 and it's Trump or it's whatever, everybody can be like anti that. But when you're anti that, you're not pro us. You're not doing anything of any value for the regular people. And so what's your strategy? Get better people, get better messaging, pretend to care about America, and then maybe every now and again actually do that. Lower costs, make things safer? No. They need you addicted. They need you angry. They need you active. And they need a daily smokescreen so you don't see how incompetent and impotent they are in leadership, because you're so blinded by your rage over that one man, the fascist king Nazi. It's so stupid. And so that's how you get the same old talking points about packing the court. To bring in new Supreme Court justices because you got shafted, because you lost, and President Trump happened to be able to put in multiple people in his last term, right? That's not my fault. That's on you guys. And so you're not happy with the structure, 6-3 conservative to liberal. And so what do you think? Well, we better go out and do better next time? No, we're going to find a way around it. And the way around it is we're going to do whatever the bejeebers we have to do, take back the House, push across some measure to pass, to pack the court. Why stop at 13? Why don't we go up to 17 or 19 justices? This is what they're selling to you. This is how you know Ro Khanna is not just part of the machine. He's running for president. Long list of liberals making the case to pack the highest court, starting with this guy from California.
I am for judicial independence, but I'm for common sense bipartisan reform. Two reform proposals. First, Supreme Court justices should have term limits. They should be there for 18 years and then take senior status where they can be on the circuit. There's no reason for people to be there 40, 50 years. I'm for term limits on Supreme Court justices and members of Congress and senators. And second, our court in its history has had 6 justices, has had 10 justices. Under Abraham Lincoln, we went up to 10 justices. I believe we should have 13 justices like we have 13 circuits, but it shouldn't be partisan. Every president should get two appointments, and this would be a common sense reform that would make the court function better for modern times.
Common sense when it's coming from the mouth of a Democrat is extraordinarily uncomfortable. However, he does do a good job and he does dance on that line a lot of us like, and that's that whole term limits idea. Never going to happen. These people will never allow themselves to be voted out of office. If you think it was serious for Spencer Pratt to get big-footed out of that LA mayoral primary by a nobody socialist and Nithya Raman, a communist, right? You think that they're going to let in any way things change to a degree where common sense once rules again and they do something of benefit for the American people? Of course not. Don Lemon has Kamala Harris on, who is as vacuous as ever. If this broad is legit, the Democrat Party front runner for the president of the United States in 2028, oh my. She says, Dawn's asking her about packing the courts, and she twists a little bit of verbal spaghetti. See if you can decipher what's being said here.
Does that sound like something that would be possible? And do you think that it should be expanded for however many? He says 13 because of 13 circuits.
Oh, I've been saying for quite some time, I think that we absolutely have to explore what we need to do because of the Supreme Court and what it has done to destroy so many of the elements of the Constitution that were designed to protect, in particular, the minority, those who are marginalized, including expansion of the Supreme Court. And yes, I absolutely believe that we should be exploring that.
What does she even say? The Supreme Court that has been destroying elements of the Constitution designed to protect minorities. What exactly have they done to do anything that infringes on the Constitution? You just don't like that you're losing 6-3. And we've got a couple wild cards. Nobody knows what Amy Coney Barrett's going to do. She's a complete wild card. Who knows? Who knows? Brett Kavanaugh even. I'm like, dude, really? At least she's got 3 died completely. Hook, line, and sinker clone trooper people there in Ketanji Brown Jackson, Elena Kagan, and Sotomayor. So she's like, I think we should absolutely look at packing the court because we can't win on our own. We should at least be able to control the courts. And this is where you got to love Wes Moore. He's kind of a brain dead governor of Maryland, and he's on with Don Lemon too. And he's like, look, I heard what Kamala just said, and I agree. We should pack the court. And he says, we should totally abolish the Electoral College too. That's reasonable. What?
I mentioned the same thing. She had a very similar answer when I asked her about the Electoral College and whether it should be abolished. And it was a very similar answer to her answer about the Supreme Court. Where do you stand on that?
I would say the same thing. I think the Electoral College, I understand why it was put there. I also think that there is now time to reevaluate, and there's now time to take another look at it because you're continue to watch how the hopes of the people of this country aren't necessarily being reflected in the results of presidential elections.
The hopes that you want, the hope that you wanted to be elected, the hopes that Democrat wants, the Democrats want us to vote a certain way. We don't care about your hopes. We actually want people who are going to deliver. And it's not you. And so you will not win unless there's gross, rampant cheating. So here's Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, saying, well, the Electoral College has kind of lost its luster. Nobody really cares about it. Wes, you know why it was there? It was so California and Texas and New York don't completely decide everything in every election, that every state, from the smallest, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont, all of them have a say commensurate to their population. Do California, Texas, and New York have an outsized, bigger, oversized role in those numbers? Yes, but they don't create a monolith. That was the point, buddy. What these people are talking about changing is mystifying, and it's dangerous, and it's desperate. And so we got to go bounce back to Kamala Harris with astonishing clarity. Kamala says the Electoral College, yep, it's a problem.
What about the Electoral College?
I think we need to look at that too. I think we need to look at that too. Yes. Yes, I do.
Specific. Thank you for the granular data there, Kamala Harris. Like literally, if she needed to talk to somebody in a debate, she couldn't do it. Yes, it's something we need to look at. We need to look at that. And finally, even Don Lemon doesn't even know what she's saying.
It seems like we're moving into, because of this minority, into Christian nationalism, and into, you know, having the majority of Americans' freedoms diminished or restricted because we're being governed by the minority.
Yes, and I think that there is some real shaking up that we have to do of the rules and the structure. And
is that get rid of the Electoral College?
I think that should be a discussion that we should have. I don't think we should eliminate that as a point of discussion for potential action.
Wait, is it eliminate that as we shouldn't eliminate that as a discussion, or we shouldn't eliminate the Electoral College? What was she saying?
Newsflash, she still would have lost.
You would have lost. You lost in an Electoral College landslide and a popular vote one. It wasn't going to help you. And by the way, if y'all hadn't cheated in the ways you did, you would have been really embarrassed. Now, these things creep up from time to time. It's whenever Democrats lose, pack the court, stop the Electoral College. This minority is ruling with the majority. No, see, the majority won. That's how the elections work, Don. There's a guy who's an Arizona Democrat candidate for Congress. His name is Rick McCartney. And beyond the court packing and the abolishing of the Supreme Court, which is on the to-do list for today's psycho-democrat, last night he said it is a top priority. This is a top priority if Democrats take back the House.
The second thing we need to do, I think, in talking about tariffs is we need to impeach Donald Trump. Donald Trump is playing a chess game on the Resolute desk on tariffs, and it is something that we cannot pay attention to any longer.
And it's something we cannot pay attention to any longer. What does that mean? Do you know what you're talking about? You want to impeach the president who's going to bring in potentially $20 trillion of investment in the United States? Are you crazy? Yes, that's the point. That's all who's left on the left. Well, you know, it's kind of an odd topic, Bob Costas. The curious evolution of that guy who suddenly now remembers what common sense is. Such a wild thing to notice. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Right? So I don't even know what you're saying. He's playing chess on the Resolute desk.
And we can't pay attention to it.
But we can't. We have to not pay. We have to stop paying attention to it. Is it? What? I don't think Kamala knows where she is. She should have to do one of those breathalyzers every time she walks into a room.
No, she was at happy hour.
With Maisie Hirono. Right?
That would be a little dumb.
Can you guys even get down with this stuff? Okay. Info.healthrevolution.net. This is one of those things that is very important to jot down. Even if you don't think it's of benefit to you, it is going to be of somebody in your orbit in the near future. I believe the Obamacare marketplace for insurance is about to go belly up. It's already been struggling. More and more people have bailed on it entirely, rolling the dice on no insurance, then paying through the wazoo and being afraid to go in and actually be diagnosed with anything because you can't afford it. So when that whole thing goes kablooey, you're going to have people in a mass exodus needing health insurance. Well, if you could get a policy that you created, the elements you pick, the things that are important to you, rather than some government entity that's like, well, you need to have maternity coverage. And you're like, I'm a dude. Well, I got to do it anyway. And you're like, I fail to understand why, because it's a grift. It's a giant freaking grift. And everybody knows it. Health Revolution is actually peace of mind. No co-payments. Your 30 to 60% off, that's your premium. That's what it's going to be. You're going to save that kind of money. There's no open enrollment portal. You've got to squeeze through and make all of these important decisions on the fly. You get to work hand in hand with somebody who wants to know what your priorities are and then wants to connect you with a plan that is the best for you at the best price. Wow, you have your own personal agent. Yeah. info.healthrevolution.net. 800-868-6187. Please write it down. Please, if you're under 65, if you're on COBRA, if you are unemployed, if you are self-employed, if you are in moderately good health, this is for you. Or you're a gig worker, 800-868-6187. 100%. I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow again. We don't have sprinklers because we've been doing this construction on the back, and I really don't want our stuff to die. Would you please give me a little breaking news, Jobby? Let me see how much we have.
Are you actually going to play it?
No. Oh, my God. Really?
Hmm?
Really? Is that where we are?
Did you do Chef IQ?
Yeah.
I forgot to put up the QR code.
We'll put it up in the next break.
Hmm?
We can put it up in the next break. We have 2 and 1. I have a minute for this. Okay.
What's the breaking news?
What you sent me about the USPS.
Oh, did you see the one after that? Just the first line of it.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
Hunter Biden is not running for office.
Oh. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Got some breaking news just into our studio moments ago.
Wendy Bell Radio. Breaking news.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. The U.S. Postmaster General has just told Congress that the post office will not, I repeat, deliver mail-in ballots in the 2026 midterms to states who refuse to comply with President Trump's election integrity executive order. Kind of makes Sparkle a little irrelevant, doesn't it? The order makes sure mail-in recipients are citizens and are who they say they are, on top of making mail-in voting more secure. Let's go. I'm very excited about that. Look, he's got to come up with a million ways around this stuff, right? With these activist judges. It's a very applicable, apropos thing to update you on. Let's go for the Postal Service. Okay, so Bob Costas, he's not a MAGA Republican. He does not like you because you are. And we remember when he just said this in March, okay? He was asked by CNN's Alex Michelson, Bob Costas was, about the International Olympic Committee not allowing transgender men anymore to play in women's sports. And Costas easily rattles off I'm not transphobic, but I am common sense answer, which is kind of interesting. And I wanted you to hear this. Listen.
You were the face of the Olympics for so many years. This news today about the IOC basically banning trans athletes, that there's going to be a genetic test.
Yeah.
Your reaction to that and this very complicated issue?
Give me enough time to address this so I'm not misunderstood. There are people who use this issue cynically for political purposes, and they're demonizing people who happen to be trans, who should be treated with respect and dignity and understanding. However, common sense is not transphobic. There's a reason why the high school champions don't compete with the college champions. There is a reason why no trans man who was once a woman and has become a man has ever competed successfully with men in the Olympics. If Caitlin Clark could play in the NBA, everybody would applaud it. That'd be an incredible thing. But if the last guy on the bench of an NBA team went to the WNBA and started averaging 40 points a game, everyone would know That is BS. There's a reason why Sugar Ray Leonard, who was a contemporary of Mike Tyson, didn't fight Mike Tyson. They were in different weight classes. There is a reason why there are men's and women's sports, and why Title IX was one of the truly progressive pieces of legislation in the best sense of the word progressive under the Nixon administration. It changed everything. I had a sister who never played a single organized sport. One generation later, 2 children of my own. My daughter played just about as many organized sports as my son. That's a great thing. It doesn't make any sense to have a swimmer who was the 472nd ranked swimmer when he was a man at Penn, either winning or coming close to winning against women a year and a half after transitioning. If that's what the person wants to do, that person should be treated with dignity and respect. But there ought to be common sense, and common sense is not transphobic.
Well, it's amazing how he's able to deliver that, because, you know, it wasn't that long ago, 2024 with Bill Maher, where Bob Costas had something a little bit different to say about MAGA Republicans, apparently not deserving that same dignity, respect, and understanding that trans athletes do. Listen.
The MAGA cult, which is a coalition of the brainless, and when it comes to fellow Republicans, the spineless, that coalition is not going away. They want, for the time being, Trump. If Biden stepped aside tomorrow, there wouldn't be a bunch of Democratic voters going, oh, please, please stop. Your friend Gavin Newsom, who's a very, charismatic and dynamic guy, but he's being disingenuous when he makes an articulate case for Biden and then says, I just don't understand why this hasn't landed. Yes, you do, Gavin, because Biden can't utter one sentence of the 5 perfect paragraphs you just put together. He not only can he not make the case for himself, he cannot prosecute in the court of public opinion the case against Trump. And what needs to happen here isn't a narrow victory, which is the best Biden can hope for. Trump and what he represents must be repudiated. Not conservatism or republicanism. MAGA must be repudiated. And Biden ain't the man for that job.
So what is it? What is it? What's the boogeyman in MAGA? What is that? What are you doing out there that's causing so much angst? Well, you go to church too much? You love your family? You're faithful to your wife a little too often? What do you go to work and you work hard and you don't cheat on your taxes? You believe in your money being used on things that are important for the country, but not being squandered and stolen by people who ought not be here? What? You believe in your right to bear arms and to protect your castle and kill anybody who dares to enter it without your okay? What? The MAGA Republicans are a threat because we believe in fiscal common sense. We believe in reasonable programs. We believe in actual results for actual people who need it. What's so dangerous about MAGA? Winning. Feels like winning. When we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about fear. Fear is the left's lifeblood. And we're going to get back in the Wayback Machine. We're going to travel back a few years together. I got a couple montages for you that will blow your mind next. It's interesting because these things that we're bringing up from the past, whether it be election anomalies and news reports based on 70% of Republican same-day voters, in-person voters had some problem with their ballot, saying that they had already voted. Isn't that interesting? Well, we covered that 5 years ago. We covered that 3 years ago, right? It's still happening. And then you play little clips like this with Bob Costas. Bob, I wonder... There's that guy at the end of the show Brock can attest to. He's a knowledgeable guy. And he's asked at the reflecting pool about the issues and Donald Trump wanting to clean up the fountain and what happened.
Oh, you're going to want
And he is an intelligent, reasonable individual who's also deranged. And it's really wild to watch that kind of chameleon personality who can ebb and flow and go weave in and out of reality, but whose basic bottom line takeaway is Trump is bad. And anything that he touches is awful and must be stopped at any cost. It's cuckoo. It's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It's true. All right, Kelly Morgan's merch sale, I believe, is over. I just want to show you. This just happened to be one of the pictures that popped up. This was, so 90 days. If you were to eat right, get outside, get some steps, drink more water, and exercise 4 or 5 days a week for 90 days. How much of a difference could you see in your body? How about that? Look at that before on the left. Look at that. Now, she's not standing up very straight here, but look at that. Here's one. There's my girl.
Is this the butt one?
Yeah, she's got a cute little butt. I love her. 90 days. Look at the difference in 90 days. Look at that. That's what you can do in 90 days.
Nice can.
That's what you could do in 90 days. Morgainsfitness.com. From the privacy of your home. MORGAINZ fitness.com. I got to tell you about GhostBed too. You pull that up and make sure I hit that right. I'm so geeked about them. I think GhostBed is just a phenomenal company. And it's one of those things where you're like, we've now branched beyond the whole, wait, I'm going to buy a mattress online that I've never even touched. Yeah. This is how everybody's doing it. They give you very specific explanations. This model is such and such. This one is a hybrid, so it's got the firmer base, but the softer pillow top. This one is a yada yada, which is good for blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yes, all of that. And if it's been 10 years since you've gotten a mattress, I'm just going to tell you, what did that lady say to you yesterday? She bought a GhostBed yesterday. She said something in the chat, and she said she just pulled the trigger, and it was like $2,400 or something like that, all in.
Yeah, and she got the
creme de, she got the one that moves.
Yes, adjustable.
The adjustable one. So you have to have a king for that, right? $2,400. You guys been shopping for these things lately? So I want to tell you, GhostBed. Is that the Chef IQ?
No, it's the show GhostBed.
Oh, okay, GhostBed. GhostBed is having a 4th of July sale. You're going to get an extra 10% off. You already get my discount. Now they're adding 10 on top of it. Ghostbed.com/Wendy, promo code Wendy, 10% off on top of our discount. So sleep cool all night because the cooling technology is built into every mattress. And hot sleepers are some of GhostBed's happiest customers. You're going to get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. You're going to get 101 nights to sleep on your GhostBed before you decide for sure. 101 nights, right? With financing, some GhostBeds come out to around $1 a day. They're having a 4th of July sale offering an extra 10% off. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. Promo code Wendy. Now, if you were here and you did not see the QR code for this is the Chef IQ 250th birthday.
That's really nice.
Meat thermometer.
What's the back look like? Is it just red?
And I think this comes off. I don't know why. I don't know why I would take it off, but yeah, it's super cute. It's $199, marked down 40%. So you pay $120. That's crazy. $80 you save off of this. Chef IQ, promo code Wendy. ChefIQ.com, promo code Wendy. I want to see if they'll send us that ultimate spike detox. Would you do a cleanse with me?
The what?
Would you do a cleanse with me?
Who?
You.
With
like a
what?
parasite cleanse.
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
I would too. I think that's something we got to get in the habit of. I'd like to have Jack go through it too because he's vaccinated. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. If anybody wants to cleanse with us, we can do it together and
My
share
daughter started cooking
stories.
for us. I might get her one. She will love you.
Sorry, what was it? Oh, yeah.
She will love you.
It's a very special.
Perfect housewarming gift. And then they maybe invite you back to show you they're using it.
And cooking you dinner.
And cooking you dinner. See, it all works. You just got to play it the right way. Like if you keep browbeating someone to get a ghost bed.
Don't you guys tell me this stuff
for when I come visit?
I don't think they're going to listen to you anymore. What is that? What's that? Nothing right there. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's see how you guys are doing. 4-3. Okay, let's go. I wonder when we switch to 10 in the morning. So that was the news that we talked about yesterday, that it's official. We are going to be joining we're going to be getting on a radio network's whole slate of programs of radio stations, 23 of them. And so we're going to go from noon to 3 to 10 to 1, which is kind of an unconventional time, but I love it. I think it's going to be fantastic. And so we got to let all of our affiliates know, our stations and friends, and it's very exciting. It's going to start August 17th.
4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of gold, truth, and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. You know, one of the things I enjoy about this show and being able to communicate with you is that we can talk to you about stuff that's going on, present stuff, timely, topical stuff, but we also like to take you back. Because if you don't remember where you've been, I think we can all agree the likelihood that we repeat the same mistakes is greater. And I don't want to do that. You know, I tell you every single, I don't know how often, but often enough, never forget what these people did to you. You know, during COVID, news anchors and reporters didn't think critically. They didn't question science. They didn't question the doctors. They didn't question the experts. They bought it up, hook, line, and sinker, and delivered it to us in a frenzy every single night. And they beat it into you the same way they've beaten into the left that Donald Trump is a Nazi, that Donald Trump is a king, that Donald Trump has this monster ego, that all he cares about is Donald Trump, and that he must be resisted and stopped at all costs. You do it enough and it's believed. You share it enough and it gets passed down through time. I don't want to forget. I will not forget. So there are a couple people on X I follow. One goes by the handle Maze, and another is Tom Elliott at Grabian, who is just phenomenal. And somehow through their work, we got a video, a flashback of what it was like in the early throes of COVID, before a lot of these questions that you and I had were ever answered. Because you smelled it from a mile away. You smell what's going on with this progressive nonsense from a mile away. Where it goes down the road, no matter what exit ramp it takes, is not good. That's how we felt about COVID. There was no detour. There was one way. It was their way. And everyone and his brother piled on you to bribe you, to beg you, and then to finger wag you, then to excoriate you, then to shame you, ridicule you, dox you, and ruin your life because you didn't do what they wanted. And if you look back on this up at 30,000 feet, you'll see a lot of the same parallels in the joint messaging and the urgency of it in today's media. So thanks to Mays and Grabian, who put together this compilation flashback to remind us what they did to us during COVID. All they wanted was for you to be afraid. Fear, be afraid. You must be scared, because when you're scared, we can control you.
President Trump wrote on Twitter, "Don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let it dominate your life." Don't let it dominate your life?
In terms of responding to a comment like that, it's gross.
It's okay to be afraid of COVID, and it's okay that it's dominating your life.
Everyone should be afraid of COVID.
You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free.
I can't come in, Mom. It's because of this flu thing.
We won't be free of this pandemic until we listen to the acknowledged truth. Listen to the scientists.
Science is truth.
You know, science is truth.
What is the impact to public health when people are openly questioning the science?
Now is the time to do what you're told.
By not hearing the truth, by not listening to the scientists, they are prolonging how bad the economy will be.
When I see somebody out in the world who's not wearing a mask, I instantly think you are a threat, or you are selfish, or you are a COVID denier, and you definitely haven't been vaccinated.
Either wear a mask or get the fuck out.
What does this have?
Are you vaccinated? I am triple vaccinated.
So why are you wearing the mask?
Seek out the scientists and listen to their advice.
Listen to scientists. Listen to the scientists.
Trust the experts.
We're going to trust science. We're going to trust the experts.
Parents who say, well, I need to do my own research, makes you think of that cartoon I saw of the tombstone that said, I did my own research.
You know, the same people who aren't falling for the empty promises of these progressives, these liberal Marxists, socialist communists, we're the same people who smelled this rat early on, well before 15 days or what have you to slow the spread. But I want to know, why are some people so susceptible to buying it hook, line, and sinker? Everything they say, they gobble up and they obey. And then there's us. We don't. Why? Why? What is the difference between us? Because the talking heads on the news carried COVID's water gleefully. It gave them a preordained, I would say, storyline every day. Nobody had to go out Enterprise News. It was right there on your fingertips. Go freak people out. This clip starts with Al Sharpton, of all people, telling you not to think for yourself, not to do your own research, but to blindly trust the science.
Republicans have given their voters license to believe whatever they want to believe.
Heard somebody saying, listen to the scientists, do that.
Let's listen to the scientists. That phrase, do your own research, it's popping up a lot in conversations about coronavirus and about COVID vaccines. Doing your own research, it seems so innocent, but it can have serious consequences. Renee, what are the roots of this phrase? I feel like I used to hear it around QAnon craziness.
Tase somebody over a mask. Tasing this lady over not wearing a damn mask.
If some jerk exposed my mother to COVID because they didn't want to wear a mask, I would want to kill them.
We can watch the experts, but we shouldn't be listening to Trump, a non-medical professional.
Well, the answer is listen to Bill Gates. Bill's right about a lot of things, and he's the steep learning curve in global health.
And we're really seeing just how important it is to follow science.
Yes, exactly. And we need to listen to scientists.
The idea that people are questioning the science behind the vaccine.
The science checks out. Even if you don't believe in the science, you think you're tough enough and you're healthy enough and you're young enough. The scientists were right all along. Eventually, the science catches up with you.
Do you guys remember seeing the police? I forget what city it was, chasing some poor slob down the beach because he wanted to sit out on the beach by himself in the sunshine and he wasn't wearing a mask. And they chased him down and they tackled him and they got on his back and they handcuffed him and dragged him away as though he had just murdered 18 people over a mask. What is it that allows some people to go absolutely freaking haywire while other people sit back and watch them lose their minds. Finally, the grand finale here. It is an epic finger wagging to everyone who trusted their own common sense.
Are we doing more harm than good by questioning the science behind J&J?
Trust that vaccine.
Trust the experts. Listen to the medical experts.
Trust the experts. If you don't understand the science, you don't know what you're fighting.
Just let the experts speak.
So maybe you should just shut up right now.
You don't want to take advice from your golf buddy or from your aunt. You want to listen to the scientists.
Can we all stop saying, I need to do my own research?
You see the ultimate effects of what happens when you don't listen to the scientists.
This isn't about being scared. This is about scaring us straight.
Science, science, and science. Only listen to the scientist.
If we follow the science, imagine, instead of staying locked up in their rooms, they're able to hug their grandchildren. This isn't about freedom. It's about freedom for your neighbors.
You can give each other a hug as long as everyone is fully vaccinated.
Listen to the scientists like the rest of us.
We have to listen to the scientists.
We'll listen to the scientists.
Every scientist, every expert, listen to the experts.
Listen to the science because the science works.
Very much.
Yeah.
I think trust science.
Says Albert Bourla, who became an instant billionaire with the rollout of these vaccines. This is... You guys, you went through that for 2 years. Every night, every newscast, every newspaper headline, every radio update. This just in. They lost their right to tell you that you were wrong when they lied to you every day and every night, whether purposefully or because they were too damn lazy to trust their own common sense. That's how easy it is to take a population of normal people, you would think, and put them like ants in a jar. Take a virus, shake that jar, and then watch everybody fight. Never forget what they did to us. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it just makes me so mad to even see that. He's not crazy. He said he saw it for himself. A Hollywood producer talking about Steven Spielberg's new movie, right? The new Alien movie. On his own alien encounter. Stone cold serious. No joke. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. We got to have a little bit of everything for you guys today. Never forget. And how about all those voices now? Where are all of them? Brian Stelter was fired and then rehired. Don Lemming was fired. Anderson Cooper is still there. Jake Tapper peddled a book, Original Sin, ad nauseum after lying to boyfriend? You. Who?
Peter Hode.
Oh, Hotez. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where's he been?
Yeah. He should be facing, trial for crimes against humanity. And then meanwhile, and you could see it because people like, I don't know, all of the people we had on our show, Dr. Gold, Dr. McCullough, who else did we have? We had Pierre Corey.
Dr. Tenpenny.
We had Dr. Tenpenny on. We had everybody and his brother on. And they were like, look, everything I'm seeing is if you get this or you get that, if you try ivermectin, if you get vitamin D, zinc, all this other stuff, right? Remember when Dr. Naputi was sued for $500 billion for suggesting that zinc and vitamin D were good for you? Going outside, getting some sunshine and getting some zinc. Yeah, damn it. Suing. I wonder how that lawsuit worked out. Right? And then I'll never forget, Joe went in when he had to get vaccinated and he got tested positive, I believe, before I did. And he got in monoclonal antibodies. And then I got sick 2 weeks later and the hospital rejected me from getting those. No, you don't get those. I'm like, really? And I find it very intriguing that every doctor, you're supposed to they're supposed to ask you if you're vaccinated. I'm like, screw off. It's none of your business. Step off. And how quickly my sister and others would have just forfeited whatever. They wanted to trample your freedom. They want to trample your rights. They want to trample your independent thought, right, under the auspices of it's for the greater good. I could suck it.
Well,
Chuck
you knew
Juice.
it was all bullshit when they said it. You can't get it or transmit it because
It stops
logic,
with you.
The logical question is, then why do you care if I have it?
Then why do you have a mask? Then why did you get, if you're vaccinated, why do you give a fat rip what I do?
Yeah.
Because you don't care.
When a cutoff turtleneck constitutes a mask, we've jumped the shark.
ChuckDefense.com/Wendy. So many of you know Chuck Norris as a legend, martial arts champion, action star, American icon. But before he passed away last year, he left behind something a lot of people may not know about. Chuck spent many years researching what actually kept him strong, what kept him energized and sharp well into his later years. And he put it all into a video that is still out there. And honestly, if you watch it, it's going to answer a lot of questions you have about your own health and well-being. He breaks down 3 specific foods that he recommends you cut out of your life immediately. And his reasoning is pretty hard to argue with. I'm not going to tell you what they are because at the end of the video, you're going to have an opportunity to buy ChuckDefense.com/Wendy. It is from Roundhouse Provisions. It's a product called Morning Kick, but we call it Chuck Defense because Chuck Juice. If you would, but the website is ChuckDefense.com. So, because if you wake up and you drink this, you're going to have a jump to your day. Like, I'm not so sure, it is delicious and you're going to enjoy this. It's also going to help you lose weight. It's going to help you lose weight, and it could help you lose significant amounts of weight. It was part of a pivotal part of Chuck Norris's daily routine. His formula, probiotics, green superfoods, collagen, and metabolism-boosting ingredients in one scoop. 1 glass of water every morning. He and his wife drank it daily. ChuckDefense.com/Wendy. One of the most well-kept secrets for the last 80 years that we are not alone on planet Earth and that there are people all over the planet who have had encounters with aliens. They've either come up on them, they've seen them in the sky, they've seen them go down in the water, they've seen things that are odd. But this guy, Brent Friedman, he is a Hollywood producer, and he's talking about Steven Spielberg's new movie that's out about aliens. And he just sort of off the cuff talks to this podcast guy who's interviewing him about Spielberg's movie. He just sort of drops this story about his own personal encounter with a Nordic alien who spoke with him while he was visiting a friend on Orcas Island, Washington. I just want you to hear it. You decide what you think. Listen.
I have to ask you, because you mentioned this before we started rolling, you also saw a Nordic alien?
I did.
Where did you see a Nordic alien?
On Orcas Island.
Okay.
I was visiting a friend there. I'll keep this one short. I was visiting a friend there, and I woke up the next morning after we were talking about a bunch of stuff, and he'd gone down to the store, which is quite a ways away from his property, to get some food. And so I'm like, oh, it's a beautiful day. I'm going to take a walk on his property. He had like 20 acres in the woods. So I start walking, and I come over this ridge, and there'd been no one out. And all of a sudden, there's this person who literally looks like a male model, like a Scandinavian male model with kind of longish blonde hair in a weird kind of more like European clothes, whatever. And they say, hello, Brent. Like they're about 20 feet, a little bit further down the hill. And I'm thinking, okay, I did not see his mouth move. First of all, how's he know my name? Secondly, I did not see his mouth move. And I was like, hello. And he said, turn around and walk the other way. And mouth's not moving, and he's not looking threatening. And I kind of was like, got it. on it, turn and I walk away. And now I'm getting a little bit freaked out. I get a ways down and I look back and he's not there anymore.
Was he tall, blonde?
Yes. No, he was further down the hill. So I didn't have a chance to like look him in the eye, and like I'm 6'4", so I didn't have a chance to look at him and say, oh, this guy's 7'2" or whatever. But he was well put together, like a specimen, like an absolute specimen. So I asked, my friend comes back and I say, okay, I just had a really weird experience. He goes, oh, with one of those tall white people. I'm like, what do you know about them? And he goes, they have a compound on the Orcas Island. And he said, there's a lot of weird people that have compounds here because there's weird energy that comes like every couple, months. And they come in a black helicopter unmarked to a facility that's all gated. And there's about 8 of them. And they come here and they stay here for a couple days at a time, apparently when this energy is really high, and they get recharged.
Whoa.
And I'm like, have you ever met them? And he goes, no, they don't. They're very select in who they meet. He goes, there's a story about a number of years ago. One of them came down into one of the pubs, right, and just walked through the door one day and said, I want to have a drink. And everyone's like, who are you? And he's like, I live up the way. And they're like, okay, cool. And he's like, so what's it like to live here? And they're like, on Orcas? And he goes, no, on Earth.
What?
Yeah. And everyone was like, okay, dude, what is going on here? And then he had a couple drinks and people had to like get him outside. And he's like, no, it's okay. I'll walk home, and then he left. And so now, is that urban legend on Orcas? Like, this was like,
is it like a pretty prevalent urban legend?
Yes. I mean, people, you ask almost anyone that lives on there, it's like, oh, those tall white people, like they come here but they're very private. They don't intermingle with people. But there's a lot
I have a cousin, I was telling you, who moved there. I got to ask him about the tall white Nordic aliens.
Yeah. So circling this all back to Disclosure Day, it's like, one of the things that Bryce and I talked about after we saw it was Spielberg told a really compelling story about gray aliens. That was not a human being. I don't know. It could have been a hybrid. So maybe not a true like extraterrestrial. Maybe it was an ultra terrestrial. Maybe it was like someone from Atlantis or, there's so many theories around the Nordics. I don't know, but that was not just a good looking man. He spoke to me without opening his mouth. Okay. So, but none of that is touched upon in Disclosure Day.
Isn't it interesting? Now you can believe what he says or not. I don't know him from Adam, but when you start paying attention to what people say, it's interesting. Some of the specificity, and you watch and listen to what they say. See, the media have not covered this story by and large for 80 years. And just because they don't cover it, of course, doesn't mean it exists or does not exist. Similarly, just because they covered COVID every single moment of every waking hour and tried to drill it in your home so that they could influence your ultimate decisions. And now you have what? How many hundreds of millions of people around the world regretting their decision to listen to the science because the science sucked. I don't know. I put my money on aliens over scientists every day of the week. What about you? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, the irony of this reflecting pool sabotage, apparently there's proof. So everybody's like, oh yeah, they're doing it. Oh yeah, we've got it on film. I can't wait to tell you this story next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. All right, I'm super interested in this, and I hope somebody out there is going to give it a go and give it a try, because I've seen this, and I see it in people who tend to be a little bit older than I, maybe people in their early 60s. I see this on people, mostly men, but it apparently can happen to anybody. When it feels like your leg is a loaf of bread and it's rising out of your sock. Like there's a mark from your sock where the elastic is. And if you move it down, you can see like almost if you put a pin in your leg, it would go like this swelling. It looks terribly uncomfortable. Well, I didn't know until this one company reached out and said, hey, we have a product, and I think maybe some of your people might be interested in this. And if you're not, that's fine. It's 35% off right now with my name, purehealthresearch.com. It's this lymph system support. And I want to tell you about this. If your legs ever feel heavy or they're tight or they're swollen by the end of the day, do your socks leave those deep marks around your ankles? Do your legs just look puffier, right, than they used to? You're like, I feel like I'm holding on to liquid and I'm not letting it go. You very well might be. So most people think these symptoms are just part of getting older, and it could be the case, but it also could be your lymphatic system. Your lymph system is like your body's internal drainage network, which helps move excess fluid and fats and waste out of your tissues. But when that slows down, the lymph system, fluid can build up, especially in your legs and your ankles and your feet, and it can feel very uncomfortable. So lymph system support from Pure Health Research, that's what this is here to help. And it's got a very basic recipe here of some natural things that I think you're going to need. 8 science-backed ingredients, including bromelain from pineapple. Who knew? Dandelion extract, burdock root, and rutin, which is designed to support healthy lymphatic flow and help reduce uncomfortable fluid retention. I don't think this is something that 500 million people are going to take advantage of, because I just don't think that this is something that a lot of people struggle with. But if you're one who does, I want to know about it, which is why I was like, sure, I'll talk to my people about that. Sure. The only time I had that happen to me was when I was super duper pregnant with Michael, and I was just giant and my feet got swollen. And I was like, this is so uncomfortable. Imagine if that was you every day. That's why I like this. Pure Health Research, purehealthresearch.com, promo code Wendy, 35% off. Most people notice their legs feel lighter, less swollen, and even look more toned and slender. Purehealthresearch.com, promo code Wendy, 35% off. Hey, it's worth it to me. If you've got a great discount there and that's something that you suffer from, why not? Can you imagine if it would make you feel better? You'd be like, thank you, God. You're walking around and you're acting very ginger. What are we doing? You hurt yourself.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Some shoveling. I just haven't taken a break in the last week.
Mm-hmm. When are you going to see your doctor?
I don't know. Maybe early next week.
That sounds like a plan. You should probably get on that. I didn't know that you had hurt yourself.
I just didn't stretch after I did it. I typically do.
Okay, let's see. I have to do something when I get home. Literally sitting on my counter at home, I have my bottle of Knockout and my bottle of Sniper and a funnel.
In your bathroom?
No, I have to refill my bottles.
Oh.
I at first, when we were selling the gallons of Sniper, I thought that was sort of excessive. I'm like, you need a gallon to refill your spray bottle? I mean, and the spray bottles aren't anything to sneeze at. I mean, this is a bottle of Sniper. Hospital grade disinfectant, antibacterial, antifungal, amazing. It's the best cleaner you'll ever have in your life. And then I have refilled mine at least twice. So you use it a lot more. Once you start using it, you're like, this is a great product. Yeah. This cleans your bathroom. You can smell it after it's done. If you smell a very slight chlorine smell, there's not chlorine in it, I guess that is the reaction of the cleaning process. And that means it's working, which is great. I use it in my car. I use it on doorknobs. I use it on surfaces, countertops. I use Sniper everywhere. And my son, Bobby, is a huge fan of this now. Whenever his buddies over, they go down in the basement and they play pool and what have you. And the rule is you can have friends, but you got to pick it up. And he would go downstairs and he'd spray everything with Sniper. And he's like, that stuff's the best. I'm like, I know. Disinfectwithsniper.com. It's just fantastic. Enough said. Did it get freezing in there?
Yes.
See,
I used Sniper this morning on my kitchen.
I don't want to put on my sweatshirt, but I want to put on my sweatshirt.
It was a mess. So I cleaned it up.
What was?
Kitchen. I was like, I use it on my stove.
I do too. Knockout as a degreaser is
Yeah.
fantastic. I need to get some more water.
Wow.
See, it gets clumpy on there.
That's that water.
Is it?
Yeah, that's that fancy rich.
Radio program. I'm literally in the shower today, and I'm thinking about this story I'm about to read to you from the Gateway Pundit. And I see my reflection on the door, glass door, and it hit me. I was like, is there a more ironic place for a deranged lunatic leftist to try to sabotage something that this country cares about and deserves to celebrate and enjoy? Is there anything more ironic than having it be a reflecting pool where as you're reaching down with a razor blade to swipe, like so scratch some of the new paint off of the bottom, what do you see? Yourself. I thought that was so weird. I'm like, that is just purpose. That's purposeful, poetic license right there. A reflecting pool that leftists have to destroy because they don't want you to enjoy America. They don't want you to go see the monuments. They don't want you to see pretty grass. They don't want you not to get carjacked or raped or murdered. They don't want you and your family to go out and have a dinner out, perhaps in a city and sitting on the street without some ne'er-do-well coming up and hassling you. They don't want you to have peace of mind. They don't want you to enjoy your life. They don't want you laughing. They don't want you happy. And if they can do anything to ruin anything, they will. They will. And that's what this story of the reflecting pool. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. So this thing's like, 1,300 feet long, right? It's been a problem since it was built back in the 1920s or whatever it was. Obama tried to fix it. He dropped $100 million large on it. Didn't fix it. The thing is known to be a bad leaker. Lost millions of gallons of water. It smelled foul. People would throw crap in it, right? And so here we are, our attention on this reflecting pool that obviously was sabotaged. People put in fertilizer. It had this bloom of algae. And then lo and behold, the new beautiful American flag blue color paint on the ground. Somebody swiped across and destroyed. And it wasn't just a little swipe. The Interior Department. We don't talk about these guys. Doug Burgum, he's the head of the Interior Department, right? Don't talk about these guys. Well, today we are. They released some surveillance footage showing two individuals destroying and removing a piece of the lining and attempting destruction of the reflecting pool at the Lincoln Memorial. Deranged liberals have been tearing out the new American flag blue sealant that lines the bottom of the pool with the intention of giving the water a blue reflection. Several arrests were made over the weekend. The vandals also inscribed 8647, calling for Trump's death, on the grass of the National Mall, and they scrawled it into the bottom of the reflecting pool in recent days. That's just a coincidence. That must have been a contractor error. So we saw yesterday they had to put up freaking fencing. They had to put up fencing around the reflecting pool to keep the jerks from messing with it. You suck! Liberal, toxic, vandal schmucks. What a shame. What a shame. I want you to hear, and this is actually a great take on it. Jesse Waters did a few minutes on this yesterday because there is video, there's surveillance. They know who these people are, and there are police reports documented. And by the way, that Olympic canoeist guy with Norm Eisen yesterday as his hack attorney, who pretended he's like, I didn't know it's against the law to put my hand in water. Yeah, it was a little bit more than that, you turd. Here's Jesse Waters part 1. He's like, you know what? I'll give you it. Maybe these contractors were in over their head. Maybe it's true after making hundreds of pools successfully. This one, it eluded them, right? It was over their heads. Or maybe not.
Maybe the contractors screwed up the pool, and they're fixing it. But we have a hunch there was also foul play. And we could be wrong, but we're seeing preliminary reports alleging vandalism. Incident 1, June 9th. A week after they started filling it with water, the report says someone slashed a 20-foot section of the liner overnight. Razor blade slashes. The New York Times described them as 2 171-foot blade cuts. They also ripped the fence tops off and threw them into the pool. Then, June 19th, a witness watched a man record himself on his phone while ripping the liner with his bare hands. A Park Service employee told him to stop. He said they were, quote, awfully sensitive about the pool and kept going. The National Guard had to physically stop him. When they searched him, his hands and gloves were wet. He was charged with 4 counts.
And that's so weird because that vandalism suspect is a guy we've all been talking about. The Olympic canoeer who tried to play the victim on MSNBC.
Turns out that suspect is the Olympian, the guy he showed you last night, the canoeer, who says he did nothing wrong.
I didn't think I'd done anything wrong, so I had no reason to think I was going to be arrested, but I suggested we walk over toward the park police rather than waiting for them to come to us, and went over and furnished my ID, and kind of before I knew it, I was being handcuffed, and realized I was being arrested.
He's a longtime Democrat donor, gave money to Obama and Act Blue. Arrested by park police once before, back in '96. And now he has a GoFundMe and a lawyer who just happened to have prosecuted Trump in the first impeachment.
This is a meritless prosecution. We will get into all the details in court. Every American should be concerned about this kind of thing. He's a cyclist who was going by a concerned citizen, curious
So what happened?
as Americans are about this mess.
He's just a curious cyclist? Well, the police report says otherwise.
He just fell in the water. I don't know what happened. I just got all wet all of a sudden. I don't know. Maybe an alien made me do it. Oh, this is so ridiculous. So the left has toppled statues, burned churches, firebombed car dealerships. They've carved swastikas into the sides of Cybertrucks. They've thrown paint on the Mona Lisa, right? They glue their hands to bridges. But these are the arbiters of our moral conscience in this country, ladies and gentlemen. What is the real reason behind the left's hysteria over this reflecting pool? Well, they're deranged, right? So there's a reporter from an outlet called Polita-Brawl. So like political, but Polita-Brawl News. And he's a nice enough guy. He's a reporter. He's got the microphone. He's wearing a nice, shirt and tie. And he's interviewing this man, this couple, right by the reflecting pool. And this is in DC, and this is an educated man. He's knowledgeable that many presidents have tried to fix the reflecting pool before. But Trump wanting to do it is a bridge too far. And it's so important that you hear this exchange. Listen.
What is your impression of the reflecting pool?
It's hideous. It's criminal.
Really?
The hubris, the arrogance behind this failed project is just horrendous.
Could you elaborate on that? What's the hubris?
$17 million of my tax dollars are in it. Yeah, it's awful. It's going to take a long time to recover.
I think the initial, what he was trying to do was paint the bottom, to repaint it.
Yeah, we know what he was trying to do.
And then to clean it. So what went wrong?
It was a vanity project, a $17 million vanity project, like so much else of what he's done to Monumental Washington.
But maybe for somebody on the other side, what is wrong with trying to clean the pool or repaint it?
Nothing. And administrations over the decades have all tried to do it. but it hasn't been a vanity project for an individual. It's been a restoration or the maintenance of a piece of public property, not the vehicle for the expression of his personal arrogance and narcissism.
How do you know it was because of his arrogance or narcissism, though?
I lived with him for 3.5 years.
You live with Trump?
I live in this town.
Oh, okay.
He's in my town.
He's in my town. I know what he is. I read the New York Times. I watch CNN, you fool. It's his own vanity project. Or maybe he just thought it was smelly and gross and should look better for America's 250th celebration. You ever think about that? No, I know him. Have you ever met him? I don't need to know him. I don't need to meet him. This guy's knowledgeable. He's auditioning for his wife. He's trying to act like a hot shot to his wife, who's like, go, honey, keep going. And he keeps going. The man admits the algae blooms are always a problem in the reflecting pool this time of year. But this algae bloom is different because it's all about Trump. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if I don't see any algae. I heard reports that there was algae floating around the top of it.
Keep walking.
Keep walking.
Is there a piece of algae over there?
See where the pumping stations are?
Yes.
The pumps are pumping it out right now.
Oh, so they're cleaning out the algae.
Yeah, they're using hoses, vacuum type hoses, to suck it out, and it's running into a city drain somewhere. There's an algae bloom in the reflecting pool every hot summer.
Right, it's kind of normal.
Nothing new about that. But that's not what this project is all about. This project is about him.
Could you qualify just that statement? Because cleaning the pool, there's nothing wrong with it. Repainting it, there's nothing wrong with it.
That's what we pay for. I pay my federal and my DC taxes to maintain spots like that, and I obviously don't have a problem with that. But when it becomes the vanity project of an egomaniac.
If he cleans it up, gets the algae out, the paint is redone.
Will my view of him change? Absolutely not.
Okay, so even if he does the right thing, it's still that he's arrogant?
He's an abomination.
He's an abomination. This is what 95% negative news every night by the media does. This is how Thomas Crooks was born. This is how Donald Trump came within an inch of being assassinated. This is how a retired firefighter lost his life and another man was gravely injured. This is how you have a generation of whack jobs voting for other whack jobs who believe socialism is the answer, because taking away other people's money is a hell of a lot easier than going out and actually creating your own. This man has got to be 70 years old. He is no dummy, but the seeds were planted a long time ago, and they've rooted like the algae bloom in the reflecting pool. And no matter of common sense, no conversation is going to change his mind that Donald Trump is the problem, period. Okay? Some people won't be saved, you guys. Anonymous, our friend at Deepfake Quotes, puts out an extraordinarily timely look back at history repeating itself. It happens every 80 years, right? Well, guess when the end of World War II was? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Brock and I listened to that, and I was like, isn't that amazing? This guy knows he doesn't have a problem with his taxes being used for upkeep and whatnot. The only thing the reporter did not ask is, well, are you okay with the repairs now that vandals have scratched 8647 and cut a 171-foot gash in the bottom of the thing, so it all has to be drained and redone? Because you're going to have to pay for that. So you're okay with that? Because it was anti-Trump, right?
Can we use logic again?
I don't know, Brock. That's a loaded question.
So they put this stuff down a reflecting pool.
Yes.
And they're blaming the sealant. These guys didn't know what they were doing.
They've never had a federal contract, Brock.
Do you really think that this stuff's going to break down immediately?
Well, it's chunks, Brock. It's chunks.
Yeah. Because that chunk is different than the way they put it on here.
So they have video. They have pictures and they have video and they show people. And I don't think it's really hard. If there are 1,700 cameras in and around the Capitol complex, right? How many do you think are on the National Mall? How many different vantage points? How many different avenues out of there
That's what
are under surveillance?
It's ridiculous when they talk about the voting, about your security, your identity, your privacy.
Yeah.
Every traffic camera, every phone, what privacy do we have anymore? You go on a computer, mention something to your phone. If you ever want to just remember something, speak it into your phone and then go on Facebook and you'll have 77,000 ads about that particular thing. I was looking for artificial turf. Who gets artificial turf advertising on their phone? This guy. Why? Because I Googled it.
Yes.
And watched it on YouTube.
Would you stop it?
Now I'm that calm. I'm gonna need another one. Now I'm all heated.
No, it's fascinating. It's just fascinating. And you're like, so
what about your bracelet? Get my mind off this.
Thank you. So this is from Steve. Steve says the 7 chakra stones will maybe aid you two in your journey. And so he sent this to the P.O. box, and I got this one. And if you look up the 7 chakra stones, it tells you one's for your voice, one's for your heart. This is for this, for healing, for guidance, yada, yada. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's very colorful too. And Brock is wearing his, admittedly not a big bracelet guy. Let me see it on you. You're going to look like you need lymph support.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know who sent the peanuts.
Oh, yes. And we got peanuts.
But somebody sent, let me tell you what I'm having when I go home.
So wait a minute. Yeah. What's the brand? What?
Whitley's Peanut Factory. I got Virginia peanuts, salted, and jumbo cashews. You know what this is going to go great with?
Beer.
That's what I'm having when I go home.
Well, good for you.
I'm going to have a beer.
You deserve that.
And some peanuts.
Yeah. That was very nice. I did not see. Did you see a card in that?
No, there was no card.
Steve, that was a very thoughtful thing to get this bracelet. Thank you so much.
So whoever sent the peanuts, thank you.
I love you guys. You're the best. Though you don't tell me when I have things sticking up.
I'm not paying attention.
Well, focus on me.
Right. It's Wendy's world.
It's all about me. Thanking you for being a part of this network that Brock and I have created. We got fired multiple times to finally say, screw it. Let's do it ourselves. And,
that's not what you said.
And because you're here, you've allowed us to do that. And I was saying how grateful I am that at least one of my sons, and it has to be my oldest son, whose job is to clip audio bits from this show and put them out on social media, to obviously draw more attention to our program and get the viewers up, right? But he has to listen to a lot that I say, to a lot that is played on this program. And because of that, I'm going to take a little bit of credit for his conservative views as a Generation Z conservative man. We need these people to remember history because I wasn't alive. Many of us were not alive during World War II, when Hitler and the Nazis convinced an awful lot of people that the Jews were all of the problem. And if we could only get rid of the Jews. And we're seeing some very ugly memories of that in things that are happening today. And I hope they stop. Here's Anonymous with a very timely flashback.
In Germany during the 1920s and 1930s, many citizens were frustrated. They had lost the war, inflation had destroyed savings, politics seemed broken, the future felt uncertain, And into that uncertainty came a simple message. Your problems are not random. Someone is responsible. At first, the message wasn't about extermination. It wasn't even about violence. It was about suspicion, about accusations, about assigning collective guilt, about convincing ordinary people that the entire group shared responsibility for the nation's troubles. The target was the Jews, not individual Jews, Jews as a group, as a category, as an explanation. Then came the next step: boycott their businesses, exclude them from professions, limit their opportunities, treat them differently under the law, not because of something they had done, but because of who they were. And something else happened. Ideas that once sounded extreme began to sound normal. Ideas that once would have shocked people became ordinary conversation. The temperature rose so gradually that many barely noticed it happening. Until one day, they looked around and found themselves living in a country that would have been unrecognizable just a few years earlier. History often asks a difficult question. At what point should people have recognized where the road was leading? The uncomfortable answer is that most never do. Not while they're living through it. Only afterward, when the destination becomes impossible to ignore.
Right? And it's so applicable to today. It's so applicable to what we saw happen to Dan Goldman. You know, I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Jew. I'm a conservative Republican woman, Christian, Catholic woman. It doesn't matter. Wrong is wrong. And when you start dancing in the gray area, well, but now you're walking a very dangerous slope. It was almost like the pandemic was here to prime us, was here to show us what it's like when you use fear and a campaign of messaging and propaganda and news that all says the same thing. When you can get people who are friends, people who love each other, to turn on one another, it's not a bridge too far to have the entire country turn on itself. What happened yesterday in New York with these progressive candidates beating out the incumbents, beating out the moderate, so-called moderate Democrats, is a warning to all of us, not just to conservatives, but perhaps even more specifically to the moderate Democrats. I think probably just like conservatives, you wanted to just be left alone. But that day is over. And now your party wants blood. And they won't stop at anything until they get it. I believe that. And I hope my sons are watching, lest they get drawn into some ridiculous narrative that ends poorly. Thank you for being part of the Wendy Bell radio program. We love when you're with us. You'd better come back tomorrow then. It's decided. Okay? I just decided. Love you guys. Have a great day. Peace.